St Kilda had a narrow win in the reserves here this afternoon. They kicked a goal right on the siren to win by 2 goals. Peter Everett, be a great battle in the ruck, he and Paul Salmon. There's the big fish. First quarter from Waverley, the Saints and the Hawkers. Hawthorn 4-6-1 draw so far. A draw last week against the Western Bulldogs. They'd love to get the 4 points here this afternoon and break their duck at home during season 1999. Knowles has got it for St Kilda. Knowles at right centre wing. Very potent St Kilda forward line, and it dribbles through for one behind. Very nearly the first full pointer of the day. And so the Saints on the scoreboard very quickly in the opening term.
Yeah, and you spoke about the importance of the St Kilda forward line, Pete. Graham's picking up Stewie Lowe at centre half back. Also, Hayes got the job on Heatley at full back. And Trent Crowe's actually gone to big bustling Bazza.
So Jonathan Hay, who Mick just mentioned, bringing it to half back with a long kick. Lowe is there. He's got a few to beat. Got a good mark to Crowe. Put himself in front. He had support from Salmon. This is Daniel Harford. Kicks to the centre. That's a poor kick. He's kicked it straight to Peckett. Peckett to Young. Young, the chip passes an ordinary kick down towards Heatley. Oh, here's danger. Heatley gives it off to Young from half back. Young goes for goal and kicks a great goal. First blood to the Saints.
Yeah, and what an important player Matthew Young is to this St Kilda team. He certainly is the rebounding half-back flanker. Does charge out of that part of the ground with monotonous regularity. There's Peckett. That's a terrific kick. It didn't actually find the target, but it was still the advantage of the forward in Heatley. He followed up the poor disposal to receive the handball from Heatley and kick an easy shot for goal. That's terrific play there from Matthew Young and also from St Kilda's point of view.
Matthew Young makes a point against his old side. He's averaging over 21 disposals so far during the course of the season, and what a beauty to start his day. Harford kicks up to half forward again. Poor disposal. No, it's not. The Hawks have got it. Now Lord. As Mick said, he kicked 6 when these two sides last met, but he too is off target and registers just one behind. So both sides opening with a behind. The Saints following up pretty quickly with a Matthew Young goal.
Yeah, we've actually got our wish too, Pete. We've seen the two best athletes in the competition in terms of endurance running, that being Shane Crawford and Robert Harvey, matched up against each other.
Burke from Jones to Francis. Back to Burke. Burke again. Takes it from Brown. Oh, that was pretty solid on centre wing. Hawthorn player is down.
Yeah, that was Peter Everett just in a shepherd. There's Anthony Rock on the ground. There wasn't anything illegal in terms of what Peter Everett did. He just done the team thing. He ran across the line knowing that Burke was getting the ball out of the danger zone. Good play, Everett, to support your teammate in the run through. Good courage there by Rock to run straight at the player and trying to harass.
Harvey and Crawford do battle. An enthralling contest. That's going to be right throughout the day. Rock, as you can see in top left of screen, being asked a question there by Barry Gavin, the Hawthorn physio, if he's okay. I think he should be able to come back. He's pretty tough.
Peter, he got hit pretty hard though. He's a little bit dazed. I just saw the incident in front of me. Just didn't look around to see who was coming.
Centre wing, Lowe taking on Salmon, Crawford and Harvey. Crawford with first blood. He grabs it. He's caught. Loses the ball in the tackle. Oh, here's Tony Francis on the left foot, putting it back in the direction of Heatley. Harvey is there. Now Woods. Woods is caught. Didn't have any chance of getting rid of it. Thompson to McLaren. Oh, it's tough in the clinches there. As grabbing it for the Saints here was Gavin Mitchell. And the umpire will come in and bounce it.
Yeah, and this is just the opening that we'd expected. Very important game for two sides that are actually trying to make and cement their spot in the final 8. Hawthorn, of course, have to win this game to keep their finals aspirations alive. St Kilda are cementing their spot in the top 3 or 4.
Jonathan Hay, that's good play. Lowe did the ruck work for the Saints, and Jonathan Hay helps on its way. Now, there's Anthony Rock. He's pretty tough, and well, he's all right now, Mick.
He's okay, Peter. Sorry, Mick, but he's okay. He's just a little bit dazed, a bit shell-shocked, but they assure me that he'll be back on later.
Well, let's hope so for Hawthorn's sake. Anthony Rock, one of the veterans in the side, former North Melbourne player. Hall in front. Lowe punches to the front. Doesn't clear the zone. Chance for the Hawks to draw it away now. Taylor takes the hand pass. It came from Graham up towards right half forward. That's better disposal for the Hawks if they can get it moving through Holland. He's gone in short. And it gave plenty of opportunity there to Harvey. Crawford had to stand and wait for the football. Would have been a difficult one anyway. Was coming over his right shoulder. And really a very difficult one to mark as it turned out.
Yeah, and you spoke about that word opportunity, Pete. That's exactly what the kick gave Harvey did to spoil. It was a poorly weighted kick, wasn't to the advantage of Crawford, and that's the reason why Harvey got to the contest and spoiled.
Peckett. Knowles, who got the first kick of the game, dangerously across goal. Mark taken by Brown. Tony Brown short of centre half back. Looks for Hodgson. Finds him. Now Aussie Jones. Jones down towards Mitchell at right half forward. McCabe was there. Mitchell does best. Gives it to Barry Hall. He's wrapped up in the tackle. David Howard says holding the footy. So free kick to the Hawkers at left half back. They trailed by 7 points.
Yeah, it's very sudden death, that decision. Trent Crode at half back. And he's got enormous pace, so he'll certainly go with Hall on the lead. Centre wing, punched away by Crummell. Disciplined play. Young caught, and this will be a bounce. Good umpiring. And of course Matthew Young, a former Hawk himself, Mick.
Yeah, well, he'd naturally want to do well against his old side, but it's also interesting to watch two former teammates, Joel Smith and Aussie Jones. They're playing alongside each other, and they're good mates at that, so it'll be interesting to see who wants to take the will up to the other opposition player. But Joel Smith's gone to full forward. Aussie Jones is in a foreign part of the ground playing at full back at this stage.
That was Carr getting it down to Graham, then Graham to Salmon. That's a poor hand pass. Centre of the ground, McCabe. He was crunched. Salmon, the advantage paid here. Dixon races onto the left foot, a raking left foot kick in towards the half-forward line. Well done by Everett. Just getting the boos of the Hawthorn supporters. That's Nathan Burke to Tony Brown. Brown goes short, and there the big hands of Stewie Lowe. Finds Max Hodgson. Look at the running of the Saints. This is Tony Brown. He gives it off to Hall. What will he do, Barry Hall? He didn't give it back. He went to chip pass, and he has found Heatley, and they couldn't have a better man kicking for goal than this fella.
Yeah, terrific technician of the drop punt. He's very balanced in his approach for goal, and that's the key when you are kicking anywhere on the ground. You have to be balanced first. Naturally, you have to drop the ball straight down the right leg, and then, of course, you've got to follow through the appropriate manner to get the journey. But Heatley does all those three prerequisites in kicking for goal. Oh,
well, I think he's the best kick for goal in the competition. Let's see if I've mozzed him, as he's directly in front from 55 metres, and I have mozzed him. He's out to the right. That's a difficult kick from 55 metres out. It's a long way, as we'll now have a look at the Hawthorn bench. Couchy,
Jonathan Robram, Nathan Thompson, Richard Vanderberg and Anthony Rock.
Remind me not to back any of your tips. Thank you, Peter.
And just while there's a lull in play too, Pete, it's very important to mention today the Hawthorn and St Kilda footy clubs have recognised the Victorian Police Blue Ribbon Foundation, which was established to perpetuate the memories of police officers killed on duty. That, of course, being Gary Silk and Rodney Miller. There's a medal for the best player from each side today from St Kilda and also Hawthorn.
Thanks, Mick. Well, Joe McLaren, who took the mark, might be in line for that. Barry Hall gave Salmon a little bit of a nudge. Mitchell loves these close to goal. Snaps, gets it. St Kilda second.
Yeah, terrific crumbing goal from Gavin Mitchell. That's one important role he has to do today, to give the St Kilda forward line a little bit of speed around this pack situation, knowing that Hall and also Lowy and Heatley will be in the vicinity of the marking contest. At times Everett will also push forward, but Mitchell certainly has to be there to be a crumbing goal kicker for the St Kilda team.
Well, some good signs for the Saints at the moment. They've had 5 shots to 1. Hawthorn have gone forward a couple of times, but falling down across that half-forward line. Here's Brown. Should have given it to Harvey. Brown kicked out wide. Richard Taylor made good ground onto the left foot. Oh, poor kick. He was on his non-preferred side. He's kicked straight to Nathan Burke, and this Saints defence is pretty good. Now he's going to kick across the ground to Harvey. Now Harvey's off and running. Oh, that was a good decision not to go wide. Francis, he's looking to give it off. Now he's going to kick it short, and he finds Carr. He might go for Harvey here. Here he goes, the Rolls Royce. He brings it down to the half-forward line. That's a beautiful kick to Hall. Great kick from Harvey. Now this could be 50 metres if they're not careful. No, he's off. Hall, that's a great kick by Hall, and a good lead by Peckett.
Yeah, Peckett's another player that actually tries to rebound and get forward of centre to be an extra mobile midfielder for the St Kilda team. He's finding a bit of space at this early stage of the first quarter. Peckett's been picked up, or Pickett is picking up Turvey, who replaced Barlow in the selected team for Hawthorn. He'll have to play tighter.
Right, from 50 metres, Justin Pickett. That's a goal. Well, the Saints are doing it on the bit at the moment. 3-3 to a point.
Yeah, they certainly are doing a particularly good job in this opening stanza of football. Pickett really does run hard out of defence to give an extra option on the way through. That's his third goal for the season, but he has accumulated a lot of the ball. He's had about 180 odd possessions throughout the course of the first half of the season. That's a good kick there by Hall.
Well, it's shaping up as one-way traffic so far in the first quarter. Hawks are going to have to lift. Brown out of the middle, throws the ball almost away. So maybe Hawthorn can regroup. Crawford, that's a tunnel ball. They let it go. Taylor, the half forward. Dixon nearly. Rebounded off Wakeland. Carr puts his body in. And there's going to be a ball up. Short of centre half forward for Hawthorn. The Hawks trailing by 20 points. And let's take a look at a little bit of tunnel ball here. Well, I suppose if he'd lofted it a little bit more, it would have been paid.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why the umpire gave the Hawthorn player the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't lofted off the ground, as you mentioned, Pete.
Rock back onto the ground. Snap it goal down there for Hawthorn by Harford. And out of bounds on the full. Well, things not working for the Hawks so far in the first quarter. Hudson marks at left half back. Kick coming from Aussie Jones. They transfer it to the other side now. This is Carr. Well clear of Crummell. It's a foot race. McLaren had it and then dispossessed. Now Thompson. Up the half forward. Barry Hall. Will he get there first? Well, he will, but the boundary line was a little bit too close. Trent Crode wearing him closely there. But it's going to be a throw in at right half forward as we check the St Kilda bench with Couchy.
Daniel Healy, Tim Elliott, Jason Trianides and Ben Walton.
Thanks, Couchy. And you can see Mick that Hall's very, very quick. He's leading Crode by a couple of metres to the ball.
Oh, he's really worked hard on his fitness over the pre-season months, and he's taken into the season for sure.
There's Salmon bringing it up to centre wing. Good play by Holland. It was meant for Leckers, taken by Darryl Wakeland as a big improver. An ordinary kick, misses Harvey. Now Harvey's got it. Here he goes. Chips it short. And again a terrific kick by Harvey. Hits Hall on the hands out in front of Crode. And this is beautiful forward play.
Yeah, it certainly is terrific forward play. I just wonder how long Kenny Judge will actually persist with this matchup. I thought Graham might have been the logical choice to play on Hall, just to hopefully use his speed against Hall's, and Crode to be used against Stewie Lowe. We intimated that might be the matchup at the start of the game, but certainly Barry Hall's mobility is causing a great concern for Trent Crode at this stage of the first quarter.
Another kick from outside 50, 45-degree angle. Hall goes for goal. It's another one to the Saints. He's happy. Well, the St Kilda doing it. Well, they are kicking with the slight breeze, probably a 2 or 3 goal breeze, but great play, Mick.
Yeah, certainly terrific play. Just amazing there. Just a fumble there by Leckers. Good awareness there by Holland to actually try to give the ball. Then a poor kick there by Wakeland, but luck's a fortune. Crawford just couldn't get that bouncing ball into his hands cleanly. Harvey was there to mop up the crumbs and kick accurately towards Hall on a lead.
Too many big guns on the Saints forward line for Hawthorn at the moment. 27 plays won. Salmon wins it, but they can't get it out of the centre again. It's going to be Tony Brown. Brown. Hoots for Peter Everett, who cleaned up Rock before. This is McLaren. He could just about kick another one from there. Is that their fifth? It's going goalwards. It's sailing through for another one. Raining goals here. 5 individual goal scorers to the Saints. Peter Everett setting that one up. 8 shots to 1. And this is shaping up as a bit of a bath.
Yeah, this is a terrific build-up by the St Kilda team. No doubt the boarding house puddings have been deflated during the week. Obviously, Timmy Watson's comments last week after the Sydney game have had a stinging attack on the players, and they've responded magnificently.
Well, they're doing particularly well. They've had 5 individual goal kickers. St Harvey, free kick Harvey again. He's starting to get right into this game. His disposal's been terrific. He's getting plenty of valuable possession, starting out in the wing and running into the midfield.
50.
50 metres. He'll have a shot for goal, Robert Harvey, from about 40 here. That's bad play, the Hawks.
Yeah, they're actually a rabble at the moment, the Hawthorn team. They're just not concentrating on the effect of just nullifying their opposition player. Here's the 50-metre penalty. There's Chick, who was trying to chase Young forward. Young probably tried to push forward to give an option for Harvey to give the ball, but it's been 50 possessions to 20, more than double in this opening first quarter. That's amazing.
Robert Harvey from directly in front. The champion has put it through the middle. So that is now 6 individual goal kickers, Mick.
Yeah, they're certainly been beaten on every facet of the game at this stage of the game. Entries into 50 are 3-9 with 6 goals on the board. That's just an amazing statistic in terms of efficiency. They've had 9 shots on goal from their 9 entries. That's also amazing. When you get efficiency like that, you win more games than you lose.
An absolute bath at the moment. The Saints looking for their best ever first quarter against Hawthorn, which is 8 goals 3 back in season 1992. And with the quarter just half over, you would reckon they would get that easily and then some.
I think before the game, Knowles was brought into the side to maybe play on Angelo Leckers. St Kilda went with that matchup in the early stages of this quarter. Hawthorn have swung a change. They've tried to break that tag by putting Leckers onto Brown. Therefore, Knowles is now picking up half it.
Everett, Crummell in the road. Well, then he gets steamrolled there by Barry Hall. Might have given one away down the ground, but no, not according to the umpire. Holland gets ridden into the ground. Wakeland looking for the free kick. There is none according to the umpire. It'll be a bounce just wide of the centre circle. Hawthorn able to get nothing up forward so far. Ball hasn't been coming down there, really.
Interesting to see how long Nathan Thompson's off the ground. I think his mobility might be needed throughout the course of this game.
Oh, Mitchell, lovely shirt front on Crawford. Now it's a free kick. Interesting. Looked legal.
Not to Crawford.
No,
not to Crawford. Now that explains it. Going to Woods. Rock on left centre wing. Cleaned up by Everett earlier. Crummell. Good spoil by Carr. Wakeland. Peckett. Here they go again. Brown ridden into the ground by Rock. It was a pretty good tackle. Jarred free again. Everett's got it. Lost it. Leckers was there. Now Rock again. Farms it out to Crawford. Can they get their first goal? Crawford up to Holland. Holland marks. Markle free kick, whatever.
Yeah, it was certainly there, Pete. You called it. Now, this is an important kick just to stabilise the tide that's going against the Hawthorn team.
Yeah, it's a mark.
Nick Holland has kicked very inaccurately this year. He's kicked 11 goals, 16. It's not a good return from a key forward's point of view. You'll certainly have to kick accurately today if the Hawthorn team are going to bounce back in the next 3 and a bit quarters. But Holland certainly has to kick this goal from Hawthorn's perspective.
Distance shouldn't be a problem. The Hawks' first realistic shot at goal from 45. And he's got it.
Yeah,
they need that.
Yeah, good kick there from Nick Holland. He certainly did need to kick accurately for goal on that occasion. But this is what happens when you mess around with the ball in midfield. Instead of going direct at your goal and trying to invent a handball and create something out of nothing, you just cannot afford to do that. If you turn the ball over in midfield, more often than not, the opposition will go forward and hurt you on the scoreboard.
So a badly needed goal that one was to the Hawks, and they could do with another couple of quick ones as Richard Taylor tried to press his way through. Oh, that was good play by Carr. Now Francis. Wakeland, a quick hand pass. Here comes Crawford. Good play to sock it off the ground. The loose ball is at half forward. Nathan Burke. Now Young. Quick hand pass by Brown. Comes out to Burke. Oh, Francis was nearly steamrolled. He gives it off to Wakeland. Back it comes to Brown. Tony Brown kicks to half forward. Low. Good spoil by Graham. Oh, holding the man, it must be. No, thought it could have been McCabe's kick there. Mitchell goes to ground. There's a quick kick around the corner, down to the Saints forward line towards Heatley, who's over the back. Heatley will race in. He'll hook it around. He centres the ball. Hall, a good mark, good play, Heatley. And the original kick for the Saints came down from Ben Walton.
Yeah, magnificent kick there by Heatley. But in terms of being critical, you have to come back to the forward part of the ground for Hawthorn. Daniel Chick went for the ball with one hand. Nathan Burke ran straight through the line of the contest to the other. Hence the turnover. Instead of Hawthorn having a shot on goal, goes to the other end. St Kilda in the hands of Barry Hall, and will kick a goal for the Saints.
So Hall for his second, and no doubt about it, through the middle. So the Saints have got all the answers. 45 plays 7. And there he is, Big Hall, and he's showing surprising agility and speed and playing on a quick player in Crow. And he really, he might be stung, Barry Hall, by his coach's comments that he had a big head last week.
Yeah, terrific stuff there by Tony Francis. Great courage. Here's the build-up by the St Kilda team. Good kick there by Brown to the advantage of Stewie Lowe. He found front position. The ball went forward for the Saints.
Barry Hall getting his second after this play. And the Saints now just 1 goal shy of their best ever first quarter score against Hawthorn. You would reckon they should be able to get it. Carr, oh, too high. Must be a free kick. Against Lord, who was mixed earlier, kicked 6 goals last year against the Saints. Matthew Carr, short of left centre wing. Awkward looking kick off the boot. Big pack of players. Thompson was there. Now there's a whistle.
Yeah, I think it's Thompson's mark, Pete. He had a fair purchase of the ball. The ball just come through the hands, and Tony Woods tried to take it and steal it. But there's Thompson. He was first up at the ball.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was a mark myself, but that's what the umpire paid it for.
I won't argue with that one. Brown, he's been very good so far. Brown, that pass left a lot to be desired. Half it. Now, is that 50 metres? Not according to the umpire. Heatley gets a warning. Saints with numbers on centre wing, 3-1. Leckers is there, but it's going to be a throw-in right next to the interchange gates as McLaren trots back to his position.
Yeah, sorry, Pete, you spoke about Brown. He's had 11 possessions at this early stage of the first quarter. Terrific stuff from a midfielder.
It's been fantastic. Stewie Lowe loses that one out. Taylor. Bouncing ball. Close to half forward for Hawthorn. That's as far as it's going. McLaren again.
Well, they're definitely, Pete, kicking the ball a lot further to left of screen. The ball's holding up to the right, so you'd think it'd be a 3-goal breeze, wouldn't you?
Well, looking at the flags...
in the seconds, they kicked a lot further to the left as well.
OK, all right. Carr missed it. Harford. Harvey. Crawford's got him. Gets rid of it quickly. Burke. Across the ground. Graham getting underneath it. Gets a kind bounce. Taken pretty solidly. Gets it away eventually. Crowd gets on his bike. That'll lift his confidence. Crowd to half forward. But standing his ground well is Wakeland. And he takes a solid bucket half back.
And he gives it off to Joe McLaren. McLaren, a low trajectory kick. It's a beautiful kick. That's good disposal too. Peter Everett still getting the hoots of the Hawthorn supporters. He kicks long. Woods. Oh, I should have marked that. If you're on your own, you should mark. That's very defensive.
But lack of talking, perhaps.
Maybe.
And a confidence.
Maybe confidence.
I think that's a confidence thing in that part of the ground.
Well, you go for a mark when it's like that in your hands.
Peter, that's just the pressure they're under that St Kilda's put them under by the scoreboard pressure of 7-3.
Yes, probably true, Paul. As we see Lowe and Salmon. Thompson was there also. Carr, Francis, and Woods takes him to ground. 2 former Collingwood players. And there's Tim Watson. He'd be pretty happy with what he's seeing at the moment, Mick.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. They've jumped into this game exceptionally well. They've won first access to the ball around the clearances. These stop play situations when the umpire has the ball, they are certainly working harder than what the opposition is. And
they're double teaming Salmon in these ruck contests. I've seen this 3 or 4 times. Lowe and Everett both going against Salmon. So it's going to be a big tough day for Paul Salmon with 2 of them. Now, it's just one-on-one this time, and they've sort of nullified it. Here he goes again, Harvey. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful play, Robert Harvey. He goes for goal. Oh, brilliant goal to the Brownlow medalist. That's his second. Well, that is Rolls-Royce. I called him the Rolls-Royce earlier in the quarter, Mick. And is he the best player in the competition to watch or what?
Yeah, he's certainly, as a midfielder, I'd say he's clearly the best midfielder in the competition. As a player, you probably have to rate Carey and some emerging stars in Richardson and also Lloyd well and truly up there. But in terms of being a quality midfielder, Robert Harvey has certainly got that mantle to himself.
2 goals to Robert Harvey and 8-3, equaling St Kilda's best first quarter score against Hawthorn. You would reckon they would break it fairly convincingly. Lekas up to half or courage showed there by Young. Hudson, ball rebounding pretty quickly. Chick giving chase. McLaren's been good. Aussie Jones chips it in short. Little 9-9 up to Tony Brown. Disposal number 12 coming up for him. Goes inboard, finds Jones. And Kilda doing nothing wrong at the moment. Still 4 minutes to go to get that record.
I reckon Hawthorn ought to get Crawford into the middle, off Harvey and into the middle.
Got to get him into the play
at the
somehow.
bounce.
Tony Brown again. Well, he's done nothing wrong. Brown at left centre wing. Everett has the set. There is a whistle off the ball. It's going to be a Hawthorn free kick.
Salmon.
David Howlett, one of the senior members of the AFL umpiring panel. He's been umpiring since his 17th year. This is Brendan Crummell, named at full forward. Crummell kicks from centre half back.
Oh, he's kicked straight to Heatley. That's a poor kick. It was always going to be dangerous. Heatley looking for a short option. He's a good thinking footballer, Jason Heatley. And typical full forwards kick. They know how to pass, not only kick for goal, as we see him give it to big Spider Everett, who kicks long. Oh, it's a mark to Thompson. He used his body beautifully and will kick from 10 metres.
Yes, that's what happens when you've got height in front of goal. I think the Hawthorn players were really conscious of Stewie Lowe. You see Tony Woods not watch the fly to the footy, and that was the difference between Thompson marking the ball and Woods not.
Well, he's goal. So another single goal kicker to the Saints. Robert Harvey's kicked 2 and Barry Hall's kicked 2. They've got a number of kick 1.
Yeah, this is just a absolute whitewash at the moment. St Kilda are just so mobile across the ground at Waverley here. They're controlling the ball, of course. They've got far much more opportunity when they've gained the ball in possession. Their targets up forward and marking the footy.
Well, 7 plays 57. I suppose really the game's already over. Shouldn't be saying that this early, but 50 points, what a margin. The firepower of St Kilda, they've blown the Hawks right out of the water in the first stanza. Harvey, well, if he doesn't win his 3rd Brownlow medal in a row, I reckon I'm a bad judge. Aussie Jones. Oh, that's got to be in the back. Hall against Crow, just gives him a little one to nudge him along the way.
Yeah, you'd probably call that psychological pressure.
You can't help it, Barry Hall, can he?
Nah.
He's just in his game.
But when he plays football, he's fantastic. Everett in front, punch away by Holland. Jones, Harford, Knowles. Knowles gets there eventually, tries to flip it up to Harvey. Joel Smith, haven't seen too much of him today against his old side. Another player against his old side, Matthew Young, kicked the first goal and got the Saints started on their merry way. 9-3 to 1-1 so far. A couple of minutes remaining in the first quarter, and what an absolute bath. So Salmon against Everett. Salmon does well. Now Vandenberg.
He's on Harvey now.
Oh, coat hanger is rock. He's copped a couple in the first quarter. Kicks past Young.
Yeah, Richard Vandenberg. I think he's gone on to Harvey. Now he's run off him here. He's still going. He's pretty quick. Loses the ball in the tackle. Still going. Mitchell is there. Crawford comes in to lend a hand. And it's at half forward for the Hawks. And there's Richard Vandenberg at the bottom of the pack.
Gee, St Kilda players are certainly having a go at Shane Crawford today. I think they're just trying to get into his head and trying to distract him from his role on playing in Harvey. But you're right, they have made a change. Harvey has got Vandenberg, his direct opponent, now trying to release Crawford to be an attacking midfielder.
Well, Shane Crawford, he's
Fumbled.
He's fumbling,
times,
yeah, three or
Yep.
4 times, and he did it a couple of weeks ago too. It's not like him. He's normally a one grabber.
Yeah, it's just amazing when you may have a premeditated plan within your team to go against the best opposition player. Every time at the stop plays, you'll see the St Kilda players pushing their body against him, talking to Crawford, trying to put that pressure on them.
Well, that was Joel Smith, the quick kick down. It's found Harvard, who'll kick from 40 metres. Now there's a loose man. Oh, dangerous kick. Too high. Oh, he tried to get it to Taylor, his car, but that is poor play by Hawthorn. And this is Aussie Jones in the half-back area.
And like Tony Brown coming into some pretty good form at the business end of the season, we can say that because round 12, second half of the year, not too many smiles up there. Well, they're doing it as they like. This is Walton. Heatley. Well, thought about playing on. Did he? No, didn't cross the mark. Went to Walton or Harvey. Harvey's got it. Everett at half forward. They're doing as they like. Who's Everett after? Maybe Thompson.
Poor kick.
Still he's got it. Tried to get it back to Heatley. Paddles it forward. Opportunity for the Hawks. Graham. Mops up well. Crode will give it back to him. Needs to kick it now. And does. Ironed out after he kicked. Everett's got it again at half forward.
He just leant over then, didn't he, Mick? Leant over the top.
Yeah, I just think change has to be made there. Paul Salmon's a terrific competitor, as we know, but just his mobility, especially when the St Kilda team are up and going, Everett's creating problems for Salmon in terms of mobility. As the siren goes for quarter time.
Well, can he join the goal kickers?
I reckon he'll actually get the journey.
Let's hope this is not a knee to Jason Heatley. They're looking down that knee area.
He's a million miles from goal. Gives it a roost. Not bad. He got the distance well. Registers one behind or out of bounds. In fact, it's nothing. 9-4. A record first quarter score to St Kilda. Maybe soured by this. Let's take a look. Oh, hard to tell from that. I don't think it's too serious. Paul Couch might be able to throw some light on that during the quarter time break. But 9-4, 58 St Kilda. A couple of players got 2, Barry Hall and the man on screen there, Harvey. And Hawthorn just the sole goal kicker, and that was Nick Holland. From Waverley, we'll take a break. It's 58 plays 7 in our match of the day. Back in just a moment. There's Jason Heatley, and Jonathan Hay has the job on him now.
Pete, it's been a long time in a game of football that I've actually witnessed a team control the footy as much. Hawthorn had 94 possessions to 45.
That's quite remarkable. In St Kilda's favour, of course. Rock to Graham. Well, maybe a good sign there. The first forward thrust. Holland up high. Chick. Hawthorn's leading goal kicker so far this year. That may be in the back against McLaren. Hawthorn certainly looking for it. Carr gives it off. Saints will run it out again. This is Tony Brown, one of St Kilda's best in the first quarter. Punched to the front by Woods to get it away from Thompson, who flips it up. Now Robran on the ground, needs to get it cleanly. Past Lowe, who didn't have much of an influence in the first quarter. Mitchell, that was a kicking in danger decision. Walton, the team-oriented play, up to Barry Hall, who takes, no, he doesn't take the mark. Bang, crash, wrong at Barry Hall. Might have been given a free kick for too high. Hawks desperate to run it away. Crode, they do. Graham, this is better. At least they're having a dip. Holland again, can't mark it. Burke knocks to the front. Lord has got it. Burke's got him. Lekas in between 2 of them. Knowles, Wakeland, now Carr, and the Saints clear it from left half back.
Well, it was great play from Hawthorn to get it out of the danger situation, but equally as good by the Saints as Everett goes forward. And he finds Walton, who drives it long right down towards half forward. Good mark to Lowe. Beautiful kick coming down low with those big hands out in front of Jonathan Robran.
Yeah, terrific build up there by the St Kilda team. But once again, you go back to the half forward line. The contest between Burke and also Lowe. Just Burke's body went that little bit harder into the contest. Therefore, his teammates won the ball and they cleared the ball with ridiculous ease. It's just so important when you are under pressure. You've just got to steel your mind for the contest and be strong over the footy when you have to be.
Well, this is just what Hawthorn would not want. The first goal to the Saints. There's Stuart Lowe. That looks good. Did it just sneak in? Yes, it did. So Barry Hall was clapping, but I waited on the goal umpire because sometimes the players can fool you when they start clapping.
Here we go here. This contest here. Watch Burke and Lord. Just the ball went to ground and just the strength of the body of Burke just got Lord off the line of the footy. Just created an opportunity for his St Kilda teammates to mop up that loose ball. They did so, found Everett, and they set up from that point.
Well, Stewie Lowe, as we watch in replay the play that got the goal, they've now got 8 individual goal kickers. That was Lowe's second mark. He's only had the one kick. 1-1 to 10-4.
Peter, I can tell you that breeze is only worth 2 or 3 goals. It's not any stronger than that. It's only a very slight breeze.
I would certainly believe you, Couchy.
And here's the free kick. The free kick was actually rewarded from the umpire out of that zone to Tony Francis.
Almost looked like a trip, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. He's in the wars, Tony Francis. He's going to be okay. Here they come again, St Kilda. Low in the middle of the pack. Colliker, Smith. Quick kick out of the congestion up towards midfield. Good bump by Young on Lord. Rebounds to Burke. Burke up towards half forward. And this man is everywhere. There must be 5 Tony Browns out on the ground. That's the way it looks like at the moment.
Yeah, and this is his 16th possession coming up. He's had 10 kicks. This will be his 11th. He's had 5 handballs, 4 marks. And he's certainly controlling the midfield. Harvey's got a lot of the footy. He's got 10 possessions. Jones has had 8 off a half-back flank on his ex-teammate and Joel Smith. But those players are certainly winning the ball at will.
Well, he's not going to be their 9th goal kicker. Stewie Lowe.
Too easy.
Marks 1 metre out from goal. Yes, too easy.
I think you need a harsher word than that, Pete. It was just too soft.
Yeah.
Too soft in the body contest. Ken Judge and the match committee of Hawthorn would absolutely be livid in that. Coaches just cannot stand an opposition player taking an easy mark under no pressure 2 metres from the goal line. You've just got to have a bit of strength of mind to get up into the contest and get it across the goal line and live to fight another day.
Kick number 2. So his first 2 kicks, Stewie Lowe, should be 2 goals. That's the way it is. 3 players have kicked 2. Robert Harvey got 2 in the first quarter. Barry Hall got 2 in the first quarter. Stewie Lowe's got 2 in the second quarter. 7 plays 70.
And here's the replay of this mark. Just far too easy. Got rid of Robert in the body contest far too easily. Just didn't stand his ground. Stuart Lowe, as we know, is a terrific mark, irrespective of pressure or not, but you just can't allow him to take a mark in that type of nature.
Well, 11-4. 11-4 plays 1-1 as Everett gets it down the direction of McLaren. McLaren, he gets through that pack. Onto Everett. Everett chips it into half forward and a nice mark taken by Anthony Rock. So Rock coming around the centre wing area, tries to bend it back to half forward. Everett flies. Oh, that's good play by Everett. He read that beautifully. Onto Francis. Francis looking for the hand pass. Matthew Young. Young brings it in towards half forward. They've got some numbers here. Thompson went without it. Crawford. It's stumped back to Tony Woods, who latches onto it. Holland has it spoiled by Wakeland. Here's a goal coming up maybe as Lord. Oh, he's missed it. That was a gimme running into an open goal, but he's missed.
Yeah, just tried to be a little bit too cute on that occasion, dribbling the ball through. When you get an easy opportunity to kick for goal like that, you've got to jail them. You just kick through the line of the ball like you normally would.
Let's check the bench with Couchy on for Hawthorn.
Daniel Harford, Brendan Crummell, Ben Dixon, Nathan Turvey.
Thanks, Couchy. Hudson kicks up to Holland. Squares it. Graham. I bet they wish they had the likes of Hudson, Crimmins, Matthews or somebody on the bench to give them a lift. Mitchell on Leckis. Well, he goes over the mark, nearly, but not quite. Leckers to half forward, and the big fish has got it. Well, he certainly knows about kicking goals. He won the goal kicking at Essendon 7 times.
It was just a matter of when Paul Salmon was going to push forward for Hawthorn. Thompson's come onto the ground. I dare say he'll take the ruck role for the Hawthorn club. They certainly need more mobility. I think a valuable player who can generate some run, maybe Mark Graham. They've got to try to push him up into midfield. Ken Judge would certainly look at that option, I dare say. But this is an important kick from Salmon and also Hawthorn's point of view. John Hayes actually now picking up Stuart Lowe. Crowe's still got the job on Barry Hall. Big test for that young man.
Salmon from 40. It comes around. Did it come around enough? I think he has. He kicked the goal. To say that they needed that one would be the understatement of the millennium. 2-2 to 11-4. Salmon gets his first. Nick Holland is the only other goal kicker for Hawthorn so far in the match. Good mark. And Turvey onto the ground too for Hawthorn, replacing Rodron.
Yeah, it's a terrific mark there by Salmon. Good experience, composed himself and kicked accurately.
Well, let's see if that goal from Paul Salmon can lift the Hawks. They're a long, long way to go to get back into this game here. Oh, Harvey was tripped. Didn't the umpire pay that, Mick?
No, he called advantage, I think, Pete.
Oh, well. Down to half forward. This is Carr. Backer comes to Harvey. On to Francis. Here's McLaren. He gives it off. Carr, just a little fumble. He's still going to end up with the ball. On to Tony Francis again. Towards the half-forward line. Graham threw the ball away. Mitchell is there and Everett. Everett's going to chip pass. That's a great kick to Hall. And, gee, they've got some forward options. Hall's too far out, probably. He'll kick from 60. It's a beautiful kick up towards the danger area. Lower's there. Over the back was Walton. He hooks it in. Then he taps it underneath. Mitchell off the ground. And Nathan Thompson desperately taps it through for a behind of the Saints.
Certainly have got some options. The Saints bench, Couchy.
Justin Peckett, Daniel Healy, Jason Hetley's crook ankle, and Tim Elliott.
Thanks, Couchy. This is McCabe in the right back pocket for Hawthorn. Well, they want to get Crawford into the play. Unaccountably fumbled on a number of occasions in the first quarter, and on one of those occasions it resulted in a goal when Harvey snaffled at Leckers. He started off on the dual Brownlow medalist, but he's not playing on him at the moment. Leckers from right centre wing. Looks for Rock. Young will punch. Hutchton gives him good support. Might have nudged Hutchton in the back, but it will be a throw in. Right half forward for Hawthorn, almost underneath the big scoreboard. 14 plays 71. Hawthorn yet to win a home game this year, and looking at that scoreboard, you would say that they're not going to break their duck here this afternoon. Knocked down by Wakeland. Chick's got it. Gets upended. Not very glamorous. Rebounds to Rock. Bounce is going to be effective. Might go through for a goal. It has. I guess you'd call that manufacturing a goal, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you certainly would, Pete. A little bit of luck, but that's what you need when you're actually facing an 8-goal deficit. They've just got to persist and persist and persist and try to especially win this quarter. If they can claw their way back and try to win this quarter by 3 goals by the half-time break, all of a sudden the scoreboard won't look that bad. They'll give themselves a realistic chance.
Well, Anthony Rock on screen has kicked his first. Former North Melbourne Rover, of course. Lucky one. It bounced past a couple of strikes. Oh, beautiful play to Brown from Everett. That is copybook stuff. That is champagne football, and Hall is marked about 30 metres from goal.
Well, I must admit, St Kilda's display so far, I would say they're the best side I've seen.
We'll have a look at this build-up here. It's just the Hawthorn players didn't readjust to the bounce of the umpire. The bounce went towards the St Kilda goal. They were zoning an area waiting for Brown to run through, but Leckers on this side of the ground where Brown received the footy just didn't react quick enough and watch the body of Brown coming through and provide a bit of contact.
Well, Hall's going for his third. Oh, that's a shocker. And it's out in the full, I think, from Barry Hall. So,
Peter, just an injury report, sorry there. Justin Peckett's got bruised ribs, may not come on.
well, he'll be a loss. He's a terrific little player, Justin Peckett. Croad will take this penalty kick, and that was a valuable opportunity missed then by Barry Hall. He's normally a pretty good kick. Croad to half back. Everett will fly at the back. Thompson did well to get in front. Harvey has the ball locked in by Taylor. And I don't know what Taylor's getting so upset about there for.
A bounce outside 50. Right half forward for the Saints. And look at that scoreboard. Everett, well, he's been pretty good today. Lekis. Brown, what can he manufacture here on the ground? Not too much, as it turned out. And another throw. Oops, the umpire collided with a St Kilda player there. Boundary umpire, that is. Lee Matthews has his way. We won't have them anymore. Wants 5 field umpires. Be interesting experiment. Everett got the front position. It's a St Kilda ball again. Tony Brown clear of Lekis. Harvey. Oh, good tackle. No, Harvey brushes it as he always seems to do. Crawford in the back. No. Could have been. Walton goes in solidly. He's got the football. But umpire David Howard will ball it up just off the edge of the centre square.
Yeah, Pete, and there was another example there of when Brown received the ball. His opponent now is Lekis. He was just too far from the body of him and lost him too easily. You've really got to play tighter, especially around the ground when Brown and Harvey and the like are getting a lot of the ball. Everett
off the ground. Crawford tried to do the same. Woods, a short kick back to the congestion. Brown in front again. Smith's got it. Tackled by Walton. Ball jarred free. There is a whistle. Colliker comes up with a foot. A Turvey it is. But it's going to be a Hawthorn free kick, and it's going to Joel Smith against his own side and 50 metres as well, I think, is it?
No, the Hawthorn player actually kicked the ball out of the area. Deemed by the umpire as no advantage, and rightfully so. The ball will be brought back to Joel Smith, who was held far too long on the tackle when the ball was dispossessed from his hands.
Thank you, umpire McGuan.
Sound like Johnny Russo, didn't I?
You did. So Joel Smith wearing Gary Buckenara's old number 11. That's play on now. We've got across the mark. Young punches. Wakeland likewise from the back. Thompson rides the bump well from Turvey. Trianides has got it. Ridden into the ground, holding the football. That's a good tackle by the youngster from South Fremantle, and he's going to get his first kick and only his 4th game. Yeah, good attack at the footy there by Turvey. First in the contest with Thompson, then to recover and actually lay a good tackle. That's team lifting stuff.
That was Thompson trying to take the mark. Gee, he's got some promise, that young kid. On to Vandenberg. Vandenberg hooks it slightly. Everett was at the back. Taylor, just that little fumble, you just can't afford it. Here's Lord, that's a good give. On to Holland. Joel Smith, beautiful smother by... Oh, great play to Brown, to Aussie Jones. That was by Nathan Burke, that smother. That was fantastic.
Yeah, magnificent stuff by Burke. Once again, another missed tackle by Joel Smith on Nathan Burke, allowed St Kilda to win the ball easily.
Aussie Jones up towards half forward. Here's Tony Woods. He went without it. Now Brown, who's having a day, he won't forget. Here's Burke, who laid that terrific smother before. He kicks forward, but it's marked by Woods.
Woods goes inboard. Mitchell a little bit late on the scene on Smith. That will be 50. And I don't think umpire McGuan would argue with that, would you, Mick?
No, certainly the free kick would be given to Joel Smith for 50 metres. Interesting to see what Timmy Watson does in terms of discipline.
It was unnecessary, wasn't it?
For Gavin Mitchell. That's something you can control, Pete, and that's what coaches certainly don't like.
Young in from the side to spoil. Good effort. Lord, who's fumbled a little bit, but he's got a few teammates. Oh, Burke. Brilliant tackle. Ball jarred free. Wakeland nearly had his head taken off. Now, the advantage was played, but it's going to come back. McLaren's got it, but it will come back. Wakeland grabbed around the neck shoulder area, and the umpire pretty quick to pay that. You'll see here, gee, Burke's done well today. Hasn't done anything wrong. Neither has Brown. And it's coming up here, there, against the big fish. So, no arguments on that score. 51 points is the margin.
Yeah, Pete, it'll be interesting to see how long Kenny Judge actually persists with Tony Woods. He's doing a terrific job on Andrew Thompson. He's playing that negating role on him. He's only had 3 touches. Maybe it's ideal now to push him forward onto Tony Brown and negate his influence.
Hutchton to Harvey to Trianides, who started on the bench, very keen to get into the action. Brown, he'll have leather poisoning shortly. Trianides on the left. Kick drops a little bit short. Oh, beautifully read by Francis. He'll put it down as a pass in the locker room later, but I don't think it was intended for him. Now, Peter McKenna, you would love him to have a shot, would you, from there?
Not from there, too far out into the breeze. Oh, nearly a good slips catch then, as we see Mark Graham racing away with the ball. Now, they've got to score something from this attacking foray. Here's Nick Holland. Nick Holland with a funny-looking kicking style. He kicks to Salmon. Salmon did well. Oh, he was dragged off the ball then. He was a bit stiff not to get a free, Salmon. Oh, well played by Salmon to Lord. Lord stops a goal. Oh, great goal. Terrific play, Salmon.
Well, he missed one like that before, but he corrected his mistake.
Well, I thought he was dragged off that marking contest too by the arm. Look at that.
Could have been a free kick. Good eyes, Pete. Also nearly holding the ball dispute against Matthew Young. Good awareness there by Salmon to tip the ball to Aaron Lord. He is a noted goal sneak. That's his first of the day.
Aaron Lord has now kicked 1 goal, 2. His opponent there, Nathan Burke, has been one of the Saints' best. They've had so many good players today. Elliott gets it down. Francis, a little give. Aussie Jones. See, these are like training drills, the way they get it out of the centre. Barry Hall will be somewhere, won't he? Lowe's there. Mitchell in front of McCabe has got the mark. Like mice under a blanket. You stop one end and they come out the other side. Good mark from Mitchell. A real goal kicker. Now, is he within kicking distance, Pete?
I certainly is this time, Peter.
I know it's one of your hobby horses. If they're within distance, have a kick.
I reckon if you're within 35 metres of goal, you must have a shot. It's too risky to give it up. And if you're on the forward line, you should be able to back yourself in to kick it anyway.
OK, well, he's right on 50 now. The man on the mark, McCabe, is about 35 out. So a kick from about 40. He's got the distance. Hits the post. And if it was in Gaelic football, the ball would still be in play. That would be an interesting adaptation, so Jimmy Signs tells me.
I saw a game, Hawthorn and Carlton in Japan many years ago. When they hit the post, all the Japanese crowd stood up, Pete, and clapped. They thought that was the idea, was to hit the white stick.
Well, they're not waving the white flag, the Hawks, but they're a long way behind. Hay kicks in.
It's towards the half-back area. This is Thompson. I like the almost a scoop that was. Under Crawford. I like that Nathan Thompson. I think he's going to be a very good player. Holland couldn't quite hang on to it. Darryl Wakeland's doing pretty well on him. Joel Smith against his old club. Well done by Lord to Holland. Oh, fantastic little kick from Holland to Joel Smith. Salmon will mark this. Oh, he's dropped it. Oh, that was a gimme, and it should have been a mark and a goal, but he knows it, the big fella. He's crooked on himself, Mick.
Yeah, well, no, this has been a good move there by Ken Judge. He is a renowned forward. We saw how successfully he did that in his times at Essendon, but height certainly will worry the St Kilda defence.
Hardy to Trianides, to Elliott, two of the players who started on the bench. McLaren didn't. He was very good in the first quarter. McLaren goes up the half forward, tried to find Walton. Now Turvey.
Good composure, good boy.
On his wrong foot. He's a left footer. Holland has to beat 2. Elliott finally gets the front position. Holland again. Trianides has got him. But he did well there, Holland. Against the odds, I guess we could say it's out of bounds on centre wing.
Yeah, certainly was against the odds, but Holland persisted. That's what he's renowned for. He really does work his way into a game. Terrific athlete, great endurance runner for the Hawthorn team, especially being 6'4", but he certainly has to work hard.
Oh, Elliott, did he have the football? He was caught. Back to Trianides. Chick, who's had a stint recently on the bench. That's out of bounds. It'll be thrown in left half forward for St Kilda. Thompson reminds me of a little bit of Alex Yashchenko. Certainly in facial looks, I think he's a bit quicker than Alex.
He certainly looks like him.
Maybe he could develop into something for the Hawks. They certainly hope so. He does battle with Stewie Lowe, playing 267th game today.
Well, that's nearly holding the ball. Yes, good decision.
Not nearly it is. So Chick will take the free kick at right half back for the Hawthorn side, or it's going to be Shane Crawford.
He dragged it in, didn't he?
Shane Crawford had a bad first quarter. Harvey beat him. He fumbled a few times, but he'd be very keen to try to make amends. Woods.
So Tony Woods hugging the boundary line. He finds Daniel Harford. Now, Harford in towards half forward. Crummell couldn't quite hang on to it. There's Holland. Every time Holland's been near the ball, Mick, Darryl Wakeland's been just right on him.
Yeah, he's become a very reliable and dependable defender, has Wakeland for St Kilda. But it's interesting to see now that Kenny Judge has made that change. Woods has gone to Brown in midfield, and Lekas is back on Thompson at half-back.
Joel Smith, a look-away hand pass. He's looking for Vandenberg. He's surrounded. Is that holding the ball? No. Carr. Nathan Burke. Tony Francis. Gee, they've got some good little fellas. And Matthew Young. Numbers just running that ball. Here's Hall.
The big fellas aren't bad either.
No. Ooh, was that out? No.
Yep.
It was out before he kicked it. So it'll be a throw in almost on centre wing with the scoreboard 11-6 St Kilda, 4-3 the Hawks.
Vandenberg going off. And yet another move made by Ken Judge, but they've certainly lifted Hawthorn. Mind you, they needed to after that disastrous first quarter. Kick comes from Harford up to centre wing. Graham, Crawford, Rock. Good shepherd by McCabe up to half forward. That's better. Hand pass comes out to Dixon from Crummell. Graham. Oh, hits the post.
Might be a free kick back, Pete.
Umpire's coming back. He's got his arm in the air, so Graham will get another shot.
In the back, I think.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting decision, isn't it? It's good to see Mark Graham actually have a bit of licence. Kenny Judge has also made a move with this man. We intimated earlier he may be used in the midfield, which he's actually doing now to create a bit of run through that area of the ground because they were fairly static. But Graham does run hard and he should kick this goal.
Off the left. Funny old kick off the boot. That tells us it all.
He's lucky to get the free kick brought back.
Well, the way he kicked it.
Like a backman.
Yeah, he did kick it like a backman.
Is that what you were about to say, Pete?
Well, something to that effect, yes. Aussie Jones, well, their midfield, you said they've got a lot of good little fellas, Pete. Well, they've got a lot of good midfielders, a lot of runners, a lot of good tall forwards, Reid, Heatley, Hall, Lowe, etc. They're a great side, and they're showing us that on the scoreboard today. Thompson was up, Walton's at the foot of the ball, applies a tackle on Chick, comes out to Elliott.
And that's another tall player on the ground. Here's Hall. Crowd will have the pace. Now, he's got loose men everywhere here. Look at him running around. He only has to bomb it wide, and he's got loose players, 3 of them. Joel Smith, now he should run this for 50 metres. They should do something with this. Where are their forwards? No one leading, so they bomb it to it. Oh, that is shocking. If you've got control of the football and not one player led towards him or ran to a space, they bomb it to a contest and they lose it. Honestly, Mick, that is pathetic forward football.
Yeah, one thing I've always been taught, Pete, when you've got tall players in front of your goal square, you kick it on top of their head because tall players can become slow players on a lead. Paul Salmon was the player in that part of the ground. Hutchton certainly got the mobility, and the kick wasn't kicked to the advantage of Salmon. It wasn't Paul Salmon's fault.
Hutchton, Harvey, Young. Again, they share it around Wakeland. Back to Harvey. Back to Young. So many of these uncontested marks. Elliott in front of Turvey. They're just doing as they like, St Kilda. Trianides. Barry Hall gathers it. No, he hasn't quite got it yet. Crow put the body in. Mitchell. Oh, spins out beautifully, Mitchell. On to Thompson. Thompson to Thompson. They'll often see that. Graham up on the back line again, and I suppose after that last kick for goal, Peter McKenna would be glad to see him there. Tony Woods. It's not Hawthorn's day. The ball beats him over the line, right in the middle of the interchange gates for a throw-in.
There's no confidence there, Mick.
Yeah, it's just that psychological pressure.
Now, I want to get back to that other forward bit. If you're clear, no one near you for 30 metres, I cannot understand why, not Salmon, but one of the other guys should have been making space in to make it an easy goal. Not give them a chance. When you've got control, you keep control of the football.
Mm.
Sounded like the Gettysburg Address then, didn't it? But I really do feel strongly about that. It's like soccer. If you've got control of the ball, you don't give it up easily.
His turnovers can prove costly. I go back to Crawford's fumble in the first quarter that Harvey pounced on for a goal.
Elliott at the back. Leckers, he's been quiet. He's had a fantastic season, Angelo Leckers. He'd be leading Hawthorn's best and fairest for sure.
Yeah,
maybe he or Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford's had an outstanding season. I dare say he'd be in front at this stage, but Angelo Leckers has gave a fair amount of latitude away today. He's earned his stripes by being a hard dower, run-with type of player. There's that gap I'm talking about. Thompson's getting too far from Leckers in this contest.
Oh, is that in the back to McLaren? To Knowles? Not according to the umpire. Healy's got it. Not for very long. Dixon, Crawford, McCabe. Good tackle. Walton comes at the Chick. He decides to back himself against Mitchell. Couple of bounces. Chick across half back. Kicks over the head of Tony Brown. Nathan Burke. Courage showing or running with the float of the football. But Holland's got a good mark. Courage by both players there. A real hospital job. Holland's kick. Rock. Now Crawford. I don't know where he's hand passed that to. Maybe back to Rock, but they've lost it. Young's got it. Whiteland. Aussie Jones. Too easy again. Hall bustles his way. Crowed. Oh, you're gone. McCabe. Hawks under a lot of pressure. Now Chick from half back. They'd love a goal before half-time. Joel Smith a little bit too slow again. Ball still at midfield. Clock ticks down to half-time. Only a few seconds remaining. Can either side get a score? McCabe applies a good tackle. And it will be a ball up close to centre wing. Now it's on the shoulder, I think, says David Howard. And Walton's going to get the free. I don't think he's going to kick from there, is he? It's on centre wing.
What's his name?
He's got a sense of humour anyway.
What's his name? Bernie Quinlan. Dave McNamara.
You'd need to have a gale behind you, kick it into the guard's van of a train and get the train to keep going before that'd go through. 11-4-76. Well, the Hawks did stem the tide a little bit. St Kilda only kicked 2 goals, 2 in that quarter, as against 9 goals, 4 in the first term. And the Hawks added 3 goals, 3 goals, 3. So they outscored them in that quarter. Good sign, certainly, but they're a long way behind at the main change. St Kilda doing it easily at half-time. 11-6-72 to 4-4-28. Stay with us, back shortly. Heatley will have to get into the fray. He'll get his chance. The third quarter from Waverley. St Kilda leading by 44 points. And on today's display would certainly give the premiership any sort of a shake that you would like. Crummell pushed a teammate in the back there. Vandenberg over to Woods. Thompson. Hodgson. Did he get into his back? Burke. About the first mistake he's made all day. Smith takes it from Lord. And Thompson marks almost in, well, we could say the forward pocket.
Yeah, promising start from the Hawthorn team. I like the look of this young player, Nathan Thompson. I've always been a rap for his ability and also his mobility. He was the one involved in that initial contest with him and Hodgson. He recovered very quickly. Good awareness there by Joel Smith to set up the well-weighted kick for Thompson to run into and take an uncontested Cheston mark. Now, this is a very important kick from Hawthorn's point of view for the start of the third quarter. Thompson
from 35 metres. Goal umpire likes it. So do the fans, and so does Thompson. It's a goal. Well, that's just the start that Kenny Judge would have wished. So the deficit now less than 40 points, 5-4 to 11-6.
In actual fact, the Hawthorn team have kicked the 4 last goals of this game. The last 4 goals, I should say. One to Salmon, also Rock. Aaron Lord bobbed up with 1, and now Thompson. That's promising from their viewpoint. It's important for the St Kilda team not to relax on their laurels, because this Hawthorn team will continue to chip away. That's one thing they've got a lot of pride in, is continually work hard.
Well, that was the start the Hawks wanted. Here they go again, Harford to Woods. Woods to the half-forward line. Holland has been pretty well held down there, but here's Crawford. Joel Smith and Aussie Jones. Now Aaron Lord, what can he do? He tapped it away and then was grabbed. Umpire not having anything of that. He handballed away. Might have been construed as holding the man, as we see Aussie Jones take it over the line, and we've got Bob Austin sitting with us, a bit of a smile on his face now. Was that held? It could have been holding the man, but we've got Bob Austin, the brother of Col Austin, who won the 1948 Brownlow medal, sitting with us. Mick, and we've got a smile on Bob's face now after that goal.
Yeah, of course, Colin Austin won the 1948 Brownlow medal, representing the Hawthorn club. He's a little bit happier with the effort of the Hawthorn team in this, the third quarter. But they certainly have to lift, Pete, don't they?
They do, but they will. I agree with you. They do chip away, Hawthorn. They've got plenty of character, and they'll have a go.
Actually, Cole lost it on a countback, didn't he? And was awarded it retrospectively. Good trivia question. Was he the first Hawthorn Brownlow medal winner, or was Dipper? Carr. Burke onto the left. Not one of Burke's better kicks today, and he's had many. St Kilda with the numbers. Oh, Everett came over the top. Absolutely crunched Daniel Chick there, and the umpire speaks to him as he runs past, but it's going to be a boundary throw in nonetheless. Let's take a look at this. Oh.
Well, that should be nearly a free kick, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it's not incidental contact.
Exactly.
Certainly when the ball was out of the area.
Salmon, too harsh for Crawford. Francis on the bottom of it. Crawford applies a tackle on him. Looks for holding the ball. Shuffled out to Carr. Knowles off a step. Kicks to the more spacious centre wing. Vandenberg playing close. McCabe in front of Mitchell. Thompson applies a tackle. Ball jarred out the front. Plenty of Saints there. It's going to be Francis from Mitchell. A little give. On it goes to Walton. Walton up towards left half forward. Thompson needs to sit for him. It does. Bounces beautifully. Vandenberg won't catch him. Spears the pass in. Heatley couldn't take it on that occasion. Good defence by the Hawks. That was Colliker. Back to Mitchell. Mitchell, the hand pass low. Snaps, and he has missed his third. He's hit the post. 2 goals, 1 to Stewie Lowe. Hasn't had that many kicks, but has certainly scored with all 3 of them virtually.
Yeah, and Hawthorn have made some more changes. Vandenberg's now picking up Thompson across half back. Looks like Collick has gone back to the true full back post, picking up the lead of Heatley. And I think that's a good matchup. Yes,
and he made a good spoil there on Heatley's lead. There's Salmon. That's a mark. No. Oh, that looked like a mark to Paul Salmon. Thompson in towards half forward. Hall bustled out of it. Crodes picked up his game at halfback. Here's the dangerous Harvey. Hand pass out to Francis. Back to Thompson. Thompson. Oh, that was good play. Lowe couldn't quite hang on to it. Then he tunnel balled it. Colliker did well again. Hay. Paul Salmon across the face of goal. Oh, they'd had to be spot on. Woods. Crawford. Now this looks better for the Hawks. Crawford on the left. Down towards Anthony Rock. He's got him on centre wing. Rock drives to half. Oh, that's a beautifully weighted kick. He finds Crummell. Now they've got to do something here with it, Hawthorn. Crummell kicks it across the ground. Lord was calling for it. Thompson. Oh, good play by this young up-and-coming ruckman come utility player, Nathan Thompson.
I think one play that's been pretty important, even though they haven't got a lot of the footy, is Anthony Rock. Just the positions that he's winning the ball, he's been very creative and had an opportunity to set Hawthorn up. That's mainly just due to his experience knowing where to run and when to receive the ball. Maybe his North Melbourne discipline days are sort of starting to come out.
Well, he's kicking for his second, Nathan Thompson. He's kicked it. Well, good start for the Hawks in this third term. Maybe they can chip their way back into it, Mick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, Pete, merely because their work rate, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best in the competition. They're prepared to really work hard and run hard despite the scoreboard, and that takes a fair amount of mental strength. And this Hawthorn team certainly never, ever give in. And that's great effort by Ken Judge to keep their spirits up.
Nathan Thompson becomes Hawthorn's first multiple goal kicker. He's got 2, both in this quarter. Salmon and Everett. Woods. He's been good on Brown. Lord got the right position to take the mark, but couldn't complete it. Rock tries to pick it up. It's going to be a ball up just inside 50, right half forward for Hawthorn. Couchy, the bench for the Hawks.
Richard Taylor, Jonathan Rodman, Ben Dixon, Nathan Turvey. Just here at ground level, you just see that St Kilda just put the foot off the pedal here a little bit, and Hawthorn have taken the ascendancy.
And young Nathan Thompson's kicked 2 goals, and he is an Alex Sashenko lookalike as
Woods.
Tony Woods kicks towards goal. Thompson again. Bounce! That was that holding? Yes. Free
Thompson. And there's the greatest advocate for Lee Matthews' decision. We couldn't see the other angle about the free kick where the Hutchton was actually holding Thompson. All he's seen was Thompson holding Hutchton. I suppose when you look in the context of this game, that was an important decision.
Harvey to Brown, was that in the back? It was. Oh, Barry Hall's not happy about it. But Crowe, I reckon Crowe, since this might be 50 metres, I think Hall's mouthed off. And this will give him a shot for goal. He will have to be brought inside the 50. Oh, it might be another 50.
For sure, and another one maybe.
Let me see. Now, don't tell me he's going to have the kick from here. Crowe should be way back inside the 50 here. What's going on?
That wasn't 50.
That kick, that should be about 35, 40 metres from goal.
Peter, I got no doubt the umpire stopped where the contact was made from Tony Woods because he stood in the path of Hall going forward.
Maybe that's what it is, but that's a very strange one. But there, coming over the top is Salmon, because the original 50 would have been. Have a look at where he marks this. Oh, the free kick.
There's the free kick. I think the 50-metre penalty was given, not because of that, because he handballed the ball fairly high.
All right.
And
now what
bounced
happens?
at the feet of Trent Crowdy. Charges forward. We don't see it by the replay, but Tony Woods was the player that got in the road. Hall met him, who was just going back to stand the mark. I think that's the reason why the umpire didn't give it a full 50-metre penalty. May have been only 40.
Well, it's a strange one. As we see Salmon. He's kicked the goal. Here come the Hawks.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having experience in your team, knowing when to push forward to be a marking player in front of goal. There's Barry Hall talking to the umpire there on screen. No doubt it was a critical decision in the context of this game because the flow of play is certainly going with the Hawthorn team. But look at this for a well-judged mark from Paul Salmon. He firmly grabbed the footy and went back and kicked the goal.
2 goals to Paul Salmon. Joining Nathan Thompson as the Hawks' leading goal kicker, 11-7 to 7-4. Back to the centre, this time won by Everett. A little bit of volleyball down there as the Saints try to get it away. McLaren does. Heatley in front. Colica. Low front position.
Good work.
Colica off the ground. Mitchell and Graham. Chick out of mid-air. Carr underneath it. Leaves it for Matthew Young, his teammate, who kicked the first goal of the day. Young's kick up towards half forward. Barry Hall on his own. Mark Endor free kick. Umpire indicated he was held. He played on, kicked into Crowd, the man on the mark. Knowles has got it. That's holding the footy, is it not?
Well, they've lifted the Hawks, Mickey.
They certainly have. And when you see the Hawthorn team just playing that forward aspect of the game, just getting it forward at every opportunity, that's when you know the team lifts.
Lekas kicked a rock. This is Lord. Looks for a free kick. The handballs to himself virtually. Lord from right half forward. Now inside 50. A ball. Tripped up. Still Lord. Carr was in there. Aussie Jones comes in for the block. Jones will go for the boundary line, you'd reckon. On to Burke. Taken over. Beautiful tackle, Lord. Throw it in, says the umpire. Now we've got a game of footy.
What about the smother here of Crowe? There's no doubt that got him smack bang in the head, but that's terrific stuff from a young kid. I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually bleeding a little bit from his mouth. It would hurt. But that's terrific stuff from the young man.
Well, that's just what Judge would have asked for. Lord tries to barge his way through. There was a wall there.
And Lord tried to do too much before. He often does. He should have been centering that ball to the top of the square.
Yeah, you're possibly right. But is this decision in the goal square? Who's holding who?
Play on.
Maybe that's a neutral ball. And that's the reason why the umpire behind that contest gave the free kick.
Well, there's McLaren. Here's the ball smothered. Salmon did well. Chick smothered off his boot. Gee, this game is lifted now. Everett gets it further field to Knowles. Salmon did well. Carr lies on top of the ball. Oh, the Hawthorn players calling for holding the ball.
Peter, momentum is a wonderful thing in footy. And the momentum comes from when your body at the ball goes through the line of the footy. No doubt the Hawthorn team in this quarter have lifted in that aspect of the game.
Salmon did well. Harvey has it taken out of his hands. Tapped down by Mitchell. to McLaren. McLaren belts it towards the half-forward line. Oh, he did well low. Oh, Brown went without it. Crowe, he tried to kick it. Then he knocked it 25 metres. Here's Joel Smith. Oh, an ordinary hand pass to look away, but back here it's a free kick on centre wing going the way of Hawthorn.
To McCabe. McCabe was held in the tackle, Pete, as the ball went out of the area. That's the reason why the free kick was given to Luke McCabe.
Gee, if they could pinch another one now, it'll be a real contest. In towards half-forward, Everett couldn't take it. Here's Rock and Burke. Play on, calls the umpire. Is that holding the ball? No.
Great tackle there by Rock.
And Mick, the Hawthorn supporters have got a lot more animated here. They're very supportive of the blokes tackling and chasing and doing the hard work in this quarter. And they've certainly received their voice. They've got their voice back. In the first half, there was nothing.
I guess Burke was between a rock and a hard place there. Snap it, goal.
Go.
Half it. He's got it. It's like a Geelong when he kicked the winning goal. Well, they are on the roll, the Hawkers.
Are they on a roll or what, Pete? Who said the Hawks had no chance at half-time? They're certainly back in this contest. They're pumped up. Paul Salmon's led the way in this, the third quarter. As we see here in this ruck contest, hit it into the path of Harford, and that is a magnificent snap-on goal from a skillful player. He must get a lot of the footy for the Hawks to get back into it, but they are certainly alive and well.
Paul Salmon like that. He's kicked two himself, but that one was Harvard's, and Hawthorn coming at the Saints after they trailed by 51 points at quarter time.
Oh, you can see they're harder at the ball. Look at Harvey sidestepping there.
And why wasn't that a free kick against Everett on Vandenberg?
Oh, could have been holding on low then. Yes, against you, Jonathan Hay. He was grabbed in that marking contest. And that's just what they didn't want. But he's still got to kick it 50 metres.
Have a look at this. Everett on Vandenberg. The ball's at the ground. Look where Everett is.
Yes, that's holding the man. Well picked up, Mickey.
Now, the footy's gone forward, Pete. Lowy's got it in his possession merely because of an umpire's decision. They are very critical.
Yes, well, maybe... Well, Lee Matthews might be on the ball. Although that wouldn't have helped in that situation because you'd have an umpire there right at that contest. Stuart Lowe from 50 metres. Not renowned as a long kick. They need it, the Saints. Will it clear the pack? Yes, it's a goal. And boy, did they need it. So a steadier.
Yep. Once again, a decision that should have been there wasn't given. Goes forward 40 metres. The opposition side win the ball. All of a sudden, there would have been 100 metres difference between where the ball landed and also a goal-scoring opportunity for the St Kilda team. But that was a much-needed one from St Kilda. Hawthorn had kicked the previous 7 in the game until Lowy scored.
So Stuart Lowe kicks his third. We'll say from limited opportunities. That one from a free kick. Vandenberg kicks to half forward. Rock doesn't get the bounce. Harvey, now Rock, Crummell, Smith, through some very heavy traffic, Joel Smith, around 3 of his former teammates. Hudson pushes Thompson. Wakeland misses it. Now Thompson again. From Holland's hand pass.
Like a throw.
Harvey, Knowles.
And Everett's out too. Everett's by himself.
No one within 50 metres of Peter Everett. The boos, in case you've just joined us, he cleaned up Anthony Rock in the first quarter. Crowe out bustles Hall, if that's possible. Crawford. And Shane fumbled a lot early.
Oh,
that's a beautiful pass there to Harford, who marks over Thompson and has to go back. He's in trouble. Vandenberg inside the square, looks for Harford on the run. Could kick this one from 45, and he has done. 2 in this quarter to Harford.
Hasn't the tempo of the game actually lifted?
Both one-way traffic, wasn't it, in the first quarter?
Certainly working extremely hard. Looked like they were just going to over-finesse in this part of the ground, but it worked out pretty well. Good composure here by Vandenberg. And the beauty of what he did on that occasion, he ran towards the player he was going to give the ball to, because then he could have shepherded. That's what he did, created space for Harford.
Daniel Harford has kicked 2 great goals in this term. The Hawks trail by 21 points only And the memento, a poor bounce by the umpire, went straight to the Hawks. Crawford, if they can get him really up and firing, onto McCabe. And he's going to drop short. Nick Holland's marked. He gives it off to Joel Smith, who's coming into the game. He hooks it back. Oh, good gutsy mark taken by Carr. It wasn't a good kick by Joel Smith. Austin Jones. A low trajectory kick. No mark. This will help Holland. He's got it. He should be looking to kick the thing.
Yep.
That was Leckers. A big mistake then. Thompson. Centre winger mark taken by Chick. They've all lifted these Hawthorn players.
Holland on his own.
He should be kicking long now. Get it down that half-forward line. Put a bit of pressure on. A pack flies. It comes to ground. It's hooked back by Angelo Leckers. It'll be a mark. Thompson again. Oh, this young fella's kicked too. And he's going to kick from 35 to 40 metres, Mick.
The thing about this quarter, Pete, Hawthorn are just taking risks at every opportunity. They're trying to invent run into their game, and that's a good policy when you're down by 44 points at the main break. They've really come out in this, the third quarter, tried to run, tried to generate some enthusiasm, and by putting some score on the board, every team member has lifted accordingly.
Nathan Thompson for his third goal.
It's a beautiful kick.
This looks good. He's dumped it. The Hawks on fire here at Waverley. Everyone thought they were gone at half-time, Mick, but this is showing their true Hawthorn character.
Yeah, magnificent character this from the Hawthorn team. They're only trailing by
15 points.
15 points at this stage, and that's a great stuff marked by young Thompson. That's his third mark for the quarter. More importantly, his third goal. They're on a roll, the Hawks.
Well, it is reminiscent of the 1970 grand final when Carlton trailed by 44 points. They won the game. Sorry, Pete, but Hawthorn doing the same thing. Handball at every opportunity. And they've got themselves back to within 15 points. Whether they go on and win it is something else. But they've certainly showed that when the game may have been over, it was still there to be won.
Peter, the breeze has dropped too. There's no breeze what to speak of. The first half was going to left of screen. There's no breeze at all.
And 28 years I've been trying to forget that year, and you bring it up now, Peter.
It was the number of points at half-time that struck me. I just wonder if that was mentioned at all. Taylor just back onto the ground. Fumbles, gets another chance. Oh, taken a little bit high, or didn't have the footy, I should say. Knowles, Chick went without it. Lord. Knowles has got him. It's going to be a ball up, which I think was a good decision.
Yeah, Pete, and I think Tony Woods has to take a lot of credit just for stabilising the ship. I think we intimated in our call earlier, Woods must go to Brown because he's got great negating ability, great defence. He went to Brown when Brown had 20 possessions. Brown has only had one possession in about a quarter of footy due to that aspect, and also Thompson because of Woods' influence on him early. He hasn't been able to get into the game.
Two kicks by Burke and McCabe. See the ball back where it started, and that's out of bounds. So it will be thrown in right half forward for Hawthorn. And they only trailed by 15 points, and that's the closest they've been since the first quarter. Just out of bounds. Almost lay off the knee there, but not quite. Almost. Everett tucks it under his arm. Well done, Peter Everett. Trianides around Crawford. Trianides kicks through a contest on centre wing. The ball, Heatley. Koika was his opponent. Now there's a whistle. It's a Hawthorn free kick.
And Tim Elliott has gone down onto Thompson.
50 metres.
50 metres.
Well, it's two this quarter, and that's against Everett. Careful, Peter.
We might get another 50 if we're not careful. We'll get another 50. You watch.
50. Yes.
It'll be another 50. There you are. You can bet on it. He might get a...
They'll be right on the goal line.
He might get a third one, Mick.
Yeah, well, irrespective of what happens, I'll be taking Peter Everett straight off the ground. You just can't afford undisciplined acts like that when you can still control your emotions. Spider is a terrific player, terrific competitor, but he knows to give away 100 metres when the ball's 140 metres from goal, and all of a sudden a player who's a defender has a shot on goal and should kick it. Undisciplined play.
Koika gets the goal. And would you believe it, there is only 9 points the difference. What
an amazing turnaround. 7 goals to 1. in this the third quarter. In the first quarter, we've seen 9 goals to 1. And here's Everett. Everett's getting dragged from the ground, and rightfully so. Good coaching, Tim Watson.
And what makes it worse, he cops a serve from the Hawthorn supporters. Well, Peter Everett, you can see that's a second 50 metres being shown now. David Howlett deliberating the and Everett's been taken off the ground by Tim Watson to the roars of delight. There he goes, of the Hawthorn supporters. The next goal, very important. Free kick, Harford. Oh, everything's going the Hawks' way now. Daniel Harford, can the Saints stop the ruck? Daniel Harford, centre of the ground. He's going to bomb it long. Gee, what will they could do for a mark here? Thompson flies at the back. No mark. Thompson for St Kilda. Traianides a fumble. Crummell gets it out. Andrew Thompson for the Saints. He kicks it straight to Crode. And Crode marks centre wing.
Trent Crode at right centre wing. The Hawthorn side trailing by 9 points.
Peter, when Peter Everett came up, he just stared up at Timmy Watson's box there. Just an almighty stare. It was unbelievable. It was blood-curdling.
I think Tim will get the last say, though. Big pack of players. Elliott punches to the front. Traianides reads it well. He started on the bench. Kicks to a contest on centre wing. Crode punches to the front. Lekas needs to give it to somebody. Still Lekas. That was beautifully played. Lekas at right centre wing. A mongrel punt off the boot. Thompson again. What a quarter he's having.
He just should compose himself now and just assess himself, because he will get the distance, Pete. As Couchy intimated before.
Big kick.
It's a long kick. It is a beautiful long kick, Pete.
55 metres, he's got to kick it, Mick.
The wind has dropped, as Couchy intimated. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a trip. He's gone for a lead.
He's gone for a pass.
Great play.
It's okay, Holland. Well, that was pinpoint the pass. Holland led at the right time.
He is a beautiful kick, isn't he, the young kid?
Oh, magnificent. He's beautifully balanced for a young player. For a tall player, he can play in the ruck, he can play across half-back. And as we've saw today, he's pushed forward and actually been a mobile forward, key forward for the Hawthorn team. But I think the major difference in this quarter, it's been centre clearances Hawthorn 6 to St Kilda 1, all to the efforts of Paul Salmon.
So Holland for his second. He might have missed. No, he hasn't. He's got it. 3 points is the margin. And I have to sit down to read this properly. Hawthorn was down 63 points at the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. If you left and came back and said Hawthorn would be 3 points down at this stage at the third term, you'd call the police, wouldn't you?
You would.
Now, Everett's come back onto the ground. Looks like he's going to play as a forward pocket type player, or maybe out of the goal square. Be interesting to see how Hawthorn restructure their defence, because this is important.
Peter Everett back on the ground, the big fella, and he's gone down to the goal square.
And Mark Graham's picked him up, Pete.
Well, they've got to get it out of the centre, though, the Saints. This is where Hawthorn have been getting it out since half-time. There's Rock shooting it out. Taylor, he gives it off to Crawford. Crawford gives it off to Salmon. Salmon belts it forward. It's a loose ball, and the mark has been taken by Darryl Wakeland. Wakeland's got loose men everywhere. Nathan Burke's one of them. He's marked at half-back, the little fella. He drives to a contest. Oh, Healy was held, I felt. Could have been a free kick, Daniel Healy. But Daniel Chick lets it roll over the line on the true centre wing position.
Peter, when Peter Everett came back on, he was very, very angry man. I just hope he can control his emotions and just play footy now. He's just lost it. It just looks like he's completely out of it, not even concentrating on the game.
Thanks, Couchy. Yes, he had a great first quarter. He was one of the reasons St Kilda led by 51 points at the first change. That's out of bounds again. Taylor's got it.
I think a true testament of any great player or champion, Pete, is a player like Shane Crawford today. Robert Harvey certainly cut him up in the first quarter and a half. He was actually removed from the St Kilda champion. In this, the third quarter, there they are at the back of this contest. They're playing along each side each other. The best thing about it, they've stabilised that position. Harvey's only had 4 possessions in this quarter, and Crawford's had 5.
Harford trying to find Smith. Joel Smith came into the match in the second quarter. He was one of the players who lifted Hawthorn. They didn't win the second term by much, but they won it by 7 points.
And Brown's been cut out of it, Pete, hasn't he?
Yep.
And Mick.
Well, he had 20 possessions virtually 1.5 quarters of football. Trianides. Off a step, Colica tries to get front and does get front position.
It's also good to see that Nathan Burke has been pushed up into the midfield. He's just an important in and under player for the St Kilda team, especially when they're trying to stem a tide.
Hawthorn and Burke punch away by the latter. Taylor gets there, but the ball's over the line again for another throw in on centre wing. As the clock ticks down to three-quarter time, we've got just over 2 minutes remaining, and the Saints by 3 points after they led by 63 points late in the first quarter. Lowe and Salmon.
Free kick to Burke, no. Umpire saying he was staging that. Oh, they went in very, very hard. There's Nathan Burke doing the heavy work. Jones to Harvey. Here goes the Brownlow medalist. He just gets his boot to it. Down towards half-forward. Everett's got it. He might kick a goal. Peter Everett, the villain. Oh, have a look at that for a goal.
He's class, isn't he?
Oh, fantastic. Is that a team lifter? He was the villain of the piece. He's redeemed himself.
Once again, Nathan Burke just in congestion. He thinks his way through a tight situation. Just held the handball up to give the space to Jones, who in turn gave the ball to the run of Harvey. Bad checking there from the Hawthorn defence to allow Everett to swing on his favoured left foot and shoot for goal.
Peter Everett has the last word. Or maybe in this quarter he has the last word by kicking his first goal. Comes to Trianides again. The Saints have answered the challenge. Up it comes towards half-forward. Heatley nearly. In fact, it was a mark. So they might be able to get two within the space of about a minute. And that would be a really good steadier right on three-quarter time. Good sides can come back, and St Kilda, they are a top side. No doubt about that. Going for their 8th win of the season. They've only got 2 goals for the quarter. That one by Everett, and of course earlier in the quarter Stewie Lowe got a goal from a free kick. Jason Heatley, and Peter McKenna speaks volumes about his goal-kicking ability.
He hasn't kicked one today, Pete.
Let's see if he can convert here. That one's home for all money. Oh, careful. Bit of aggro out there. Hawthorn and St Kilda matches usually have that. We haven't seen it up until this quarter. They were very fiery affairs, some of those games down at Moorabbin. Straight through the high diddle-diddle. Don't argue. There's a couple of good heads.
Well, that's not a pretty looking sight. Mark Graham and Jason Heatley mouthing up at each other from about 2 millimetres away. 14-7 to plays 12-4. Saints in front, Low in the ruck. Centre bounce clearance is very, very important. Matthew Young went without it. Strong work in there, and the umpire will come in and bounce it. But whatever happens, Mick, at least Hawthorn have put themselves back in a position to win the game.
Well, they certainly have. The game is winnable from Hawthorn's point of view. You just hope they can stabilise this last minute and don't allow St Kilda to go forward and kick another one.
Well, a goal either way would be invaluable here. Here's Leckus. He's very, very cool. Harford, oh, that was a beautiful hand pass to Crawford. Crawford bends it back on a good lead. That's good play by Crawford to Thompson. Now they want to move.
Have a shot.
He's brought it into Leckus. Leckus will kick from 40 metres. No, have a shot. I know what you're saying, Mick. Rock was
on his own,
wider, but on a worse angle. So have a shot from 40. Angelo Leckus, he is a very cool customer, and gee, the Hawks want this one with 19 seconds to three-quarter time. He's an up and under kick. It's a good-looking kick. It's a goal. The Hawks come back again.
This has been an amazing quarter of footy. First of all, the Hawthorn team jumped into the game by kicking the first 4 of the third quarter. Then Lowy stemmed the tide by kicking a much-needed one from a free kick, a dubious one at that, when there should have been a free kick in midfield for the Hawthorn team to Vandenberg. And Hawthorn kicked the next 4, only for St Kilda to return with 2. Then the Lekos goal keeps them in the game.
It's Hawthorn's second best ever quarter of football, the third quarter, second best third quarter of football against St Kilda. So a couple of records here today. Taylor, can they get another one before three-quarter time?
What an amazing.
And that is the siren, I think. So Holland will get a chance to kick his third goal, his second of the quarter.
What a good mark too, Mick, wasn't it?
And there's another centre bounce clearance, Pete, that we spoke about. It's been the difference in this quarter. But that is courage at its best. Backing back, knowing the next line of players would certainly commit himself because they'd know how far the quarter had gone. But Holland, he's been terrific in this quarter. He's had 5 possessions, taken 3 telling marks, and this could be a sensational shot on goal to go into the three-quarter time huddle.
He's got it. That is an important goal for Hawthorn. Holland kicks his third, and the Hawks again get to within a kick here at Waverley in the battle of the co-tenants. Burke confronts the umpires and gets assistance from Lowe. What an amazing turnaround of football. I think I used the expression the game was over earlier, but obviously the Hawks had different ideas. If they heard me, it worked.
Yeah, what an unbelievable game. It just goes to show when you've got 22 committed players to go at the footy in a more disciplined manner than the opposition, you give yourself a chance. And that's what the competitive nature of any game of footy is.
Well, it's 3 points the difference here at Waverley. Don't go away. 1 quarter to go.
Don't put yourself under any pressure. Play with a bit of poise, because more often than not, you'll find easy targets under no pressure from the opposition.
Well, the Saints led by 10 goals at one stage. It's now just 3 points the difference as we begin the final quarter. Stuart Lowe in the ruck. Interesting. Taylor's got it and gets taken to the ground in the tackle. And it's going to be a ball up.
Yeah, and Nathan Burke's actually started the last quarter in the middle, playing on Harford. Crawford's in there with also Harvey. Those 4 players will have a fair bit to say in the outcome of this game.
Lowe and Salmon. Won by Salmon. Leckers. Francis has got him. Might have been taken high. Not so. Harford. A little give. Look away hand pass to Crawford. Wakeland. Carr. Goes for the boundary line. Will he find it? He finds Burke. That's a better option, you'd reckon. Gets clear of Harford. Back to Crawford, but the boundary line is too close. It beats him and Brown over the line for a throw-in on centre wing. So early in the final quarter, no decisive break from midfield. Couchy, the bench for the Hawkers.
Jonathan Robram, Ben Dixon, Richard Vandenberg and Nathan Turvey.
Thanks, Couchy. Throw in centre wing. First goal vital here. Low. Salmon out the back. Chance for Carr. Gets onto it quickly. Elliott. Free kick going St Kilda's way. Barry Hall claims it. He was one of the villains in that third quarter when they got 2 consecutive 50-metre penalties, Hawthorn. Here's Everett. Good punch by Hay. Chick gets the bounce that he wanted. Goes for the boundary line. Taylor. Good tackle. Francis. Ball jarred free at it. Chick picks it up close to the line. Keeps it in play. Blocked by Crawford on Harvey. Elliott. Off half a step. Oh, on his own, Heatley. Oh, good punch away. That came from Colliker and through for a rush behind. First score of the final quarter. The difference out to 4 points.
And amazingly, in the third term, Hawthorn kicked 10 goals straight. You mentioned the 1970 grand final, Pete. Carlton in that third term kicked 8 goals straight. And that's the importance of straight kicking. You put that scoreboard pressure on, as you see Richard Taylor kick the halfback, or Angelo Lecker's not too happy with that kick.
St Kilda bench, Justin Pecker with bruised ribs, Daniel Healy, Ben Walton and Brett Knowles.
Thank you, Paul. And you'd be really feeling the atmosphere down at ground level. We can feel it up here as we see Salmon with 2 hands, but Nathan Burke latches onto it. He hooks it back up in front of goal. It was a vital touch, but Heatley's got it. Tried to tap it on. Oh, kicked it, but he was lying on the ground. Big Everett is there. Taken by Hay. He kicks wide. The race is on. Who's got the speed? McLaren is there. Harvey is there. Harvey tied. Brilliant play by Harvey, but his teammate wasn't ready for it. He wasn't aware. Harvey 1 step ahead. That was Joel Smith. Oh, they gained about 40 metres then the Hawks, and that was a vital 40 metres.
What about the efforts there from Harvey and Crawford? Both ran extremely hard. There's a flick back by Harvey to the advantage of McLaren. You called it, Pete. Good awareness there by Harvey. McLaren just wasn't ready for it. But just the recovery factor, the ball went forward for Hawthorn. Crawford got to his feet. They ran 100 yards to get to that loose ball bouncing away from their goal. But their second efforts were just sensational.
We'll do it all again. Low and Salmon contesting. Harvey tried to pick it up. Shane Crawford, after a nightmare start today, mirrored by the scoreboard at half-time for his club, has fought his way back into it. Nathan Burke's been good all day. In fact, take away Nathan Burke and probably Hawthorn would be a couple in front now. Crawford thought about going back to Chick, brings it up more towards midfield. Woods didn't get the bounce he wanted initially. Now bombs it long. Thompson again. Can't complete the mark. Mitchell gives them a little bit of run. Thompson in the back pocket. Kicks to centre wing. Elliott on Rock. Rock won't let him go. You better give him up now. Oh. Short of centre wing. A terrible kick. Colliker underneath it. Oh, should have taken the mark. Good tackle by Trianides. And that is out of bounds. Tackled by Harford on Walton. Right in front of our commentary box, and it will be thrown in. Early stages of the last quarter. Still less than a kick in it. The Saints in front. Hawthorn yet to be in front.
Yes, and that's right, Pete. That's the vital thing. If they could get their noses in front, even by a couple of points, it might make a big difference. We see Woods kick at the centre wing. Young at the back. Oh, it's a strong ball. Harvey received from Burke. Burke did the heavy work there again. Harvey to the half-forward line. Hall couldn't get back to take the mark, and it beats him over the line just inside 50.
And there's been a couple of positional changes from St Kilda's point of view. Tim Watson's pushed Gavin Mitchell and also Andrew Thompson to play in the defensive half. Thompson's picking up the dangerous Lord, and also Mitchell's picking up Anthony Rock.
Salmon bumped out of it by Elliott. Pushed out, said the umpire. And advantage paid to Richard Taylor, who kicks to centre wing. It's a loose ball over the back. Young, oh, they've got a little fumble. How'd the umpire see that? He's allowed the handball. That was by Joel Smith. Nathan Burke's battling hard to lift his team. He gets in a quick hand pass around the boundary line. Matthew Young. Oh, that is a terrific mark. Aussie Jones.
Good kick also.
Half-forward flank, way out on the boundary line. He's a great kick. Jones kicks a 60-metre kick. Elliott will fly at the back. It's no mark. Trianides on his left foot. Bends it back, but waiting for it is Mark Graham.
The only player there in the goal square, Graham. They could bring this all the way. Hollander's got it.
That's good play.
Now long, Leckers on his own, short of right half forward. He's a long way away from Wakeland. Oh, bounces like a sponge. One of those puddings that Tim Watson spoke about. Crumble in front, punch away by Thompson. Taylor, if he can gather it. Mitchell. Leckers through his legs virtually. Wakeland comes in. Kick comes up towards, Young's in the box seat here, over the front half. It now Rock needs to gather it, snaps. Misses. Golden opportunity missed there for Hawthorn. Had he kicked that, they would have been in front for the first time today.
And that's an interesting matchup, Mitchell on Rock. Mitchell hasn't played a lot as being a small defender in that part of the ground, and it just concerns me a little knowing that at this stage of the game, when the pressure's on, I think you'd prefer to go to the player who's played a fair amount in the defensive part of the ground on the dangerous crumbing Anthony Rock.
Salmon off with the blood rule, Jonathan Robin on. I'll tell you what, they'll fix him up quick smart, even though he's the oldest player on the field.
And probably the tirest.
Well, I still think they'd want him out in the ground. As we see Matthew Young, a beautiful kick in, and he finds Stewie Lowe. Tony Francis, a low trajectory kick. Is it a mark? No. It's over the back. It's no free kick either. Tapped over the line by Tim Elliott. And there's St Kilda supporters cheering Elliott for that tap over the line.
Peter, Paul Salmon's just going to scratch above the eye there. Nothing serious, and hopefully should be back on.
Yes, I agree, Couchy. They want him back on quick smart because he was responsible for getting that ball out of the centre in that third term. Here's Thompson, who was brilliant in that third term. He kicked 3 goals. Now, Elliott. And players, you can already see Mick, they're very, very tired.
And it's interesting watching this boundary throw in. Graham's opponent is Elliott. He's pushed into the ruck contest with Thompson. Graham should push back to give an extra height across in front of Hall and also Everett. Just in that congestion, it's just low percentage for where he is.
He's Graham had it, lost it. Tried Eadie's kickers short. Danger here for the Hawks. Harvey breaks one tackle. Brown goes at goal. Touched, or one behind.
How do you stop Harvey, Mick? I mean, he was caught twice then and got through.
Oh, he's just very, very strong from the hips down. He's got magnificent balance and composure in the tackle. He gets his hands free. That's the key, because whenever your hands are free, you're evading the ball. It's just a natural instinct for the players to go where the footy is. We normally try to do the technique thing, and that's go to the hips. But Harvey's very strong in that area, but he still also gives himself another chance to get free of the tackle.
Thompson again from Hayes' kick. Back to Graham. Graham at half-back, up towards midfield. Good mark to Lord. Thompson just couldn't quite make ground on him. Lord short of the centre circle. No goal scored so far in the final quarter. Young, the run from the back. That's a mark. The mark is there at half-forward for Hawthorn.
Yeah, the signs are certainly ominous.
Holland.
He's been terrific since quarter time. There's no doubt about that. He keeps finding front position, and that's a sign of a good forward. Good strength in the upper body to get Wakeland off the line of the ball coming forward.
Well, two much maligned players. Matthew Richardson last night with 6, and Holland so far today with 3. I think this weekend have answered their critics. The fish has been patched up. He will be back.
And here's another interesting change. Crummell's come off the ground. Dixon, who hasn't had a lot of ground time, he's only had 2 possessions. He's the type of player that could bob up and kick a couple of goals in a few minutes.
Holland from 50. Hawthorn are in front for the first time.
Well, good players respond to pressure. There's no doubt Holland has been a much maligned player for a long period of time. This is the first time the Hawks have hit the front, mainly due to the efforts of a real team work ethic. Every Hawthorn player since quarter time probably reassessed their goals. They had to win the second quarter. They had to win the third to give themselves a chance to miss the last quarter. But well done, Nick Holland.
Hawthorn lead by 2 points. Everett's in the ruck. Salmon's back on the ground. Rob ran off. That's a vital ball here. Tony Brown, he's been held in. First half, he was sensational, Brown, but he's been cut out of it since half-time by Tony Woods.
He's had two possessions since Woods went to him. Woods has done a magnificent job for the role he's been asked to play. He started on Thompson. 3 possessions to Thompson when Woods was accountable for him. Since he's gone to Brown, Brown's only touched the footy twice.
Crawford weaves his eye, slipped over. Oh, tapped back by Crawford. Traianides is there. Oh, Rock. That was tough and hard by Rock there. Who was tripped? It was Rock. So it's his kick, and they've got the momentum going here, the Hawks.
He's been good, Rock.
Oh, he's been tough. He's done the hard yakka. He's going to kick it wide to the half-forward line, looking for Holland. Punched away by Wakeland. It's a loose ball again. Taylor is there, and he's got support. This is Dixon. He's got to kick it. Kick it, son. Half it. Woods. Wide. Thompson. Oh, he worked hard, Thompson. He's got support from Crawford. Crawford drives it low. Oh, brilliant play by the captain. Lord, he's got to move it quickly. He's outside 50. Gee, if they could pick up another one here, the Hawks.
Get it to the front of the goal square. That's where Holland is. Salmon's pushing forward also. Put it about 10 metres from goal.
Put the pressure on.
Put the pressure on the defensive group. This will be a half kick.
Yeah,
elevated. He's lifted the ball to sign of pushing the players down. No doubt they'll just try to trot it in front of the goal square. On the heads of the tall players.
Yeah, hoping someone will take a mark. He's just outside 50. He's going to float into the square. No mark. Oh, Collinger! Stop!
He's missed.
Oh, goodness me. Oh, it hit the post, in fact. Oh, that was a vital kick. If they could have got 1.5 goals in front, they would have been tough to beat.
Yeah, that's where the pressure comes. That's a good kick from Lord. Interesting to see now that the Hawthorn team have actually gone with a man-on-man principle all over the ground. You'll find that Harvey will break free as he does and receives the footy from the kick-in.
As he so often does, to centre wing. Elliott, oh, good mark in front of Graham. Now the Hawks have got a man up across half-back. Goals hard to come by, at least so far in the final quarter. Elliott's kick low, couldn't take it. Croner's there, slips. A couple of crucial slips by, first of all, Crawford and now Crow.
Harvey gave Elliott a real burst then, because as he ran past, he called for the handball and Elliott wouldn't give it to him.
That could have been a free kick, couldn't it? Against Stewie Lowe. I wonder if this ball's going to bounce very high here. No, it doesn't. Salmon hits it straight at the umpire virtually. Francis and Graham. It's all tied up again. There won't be any holding the ball decision there.
Mick, I just believe Peter Everett's got to really come into this game there. He's had a rest down the forward line here. They haven't had much of the play. It's just really up to him to, after giving that 50-metre away in that third quarter, is really stand up here and take the lead.
Yeah, good point, Couchy. It's important to him to keep his composure. He certainly could become an important player late in this game.
Well, he did kick a great goal late in the third quarter, didn't he, to answer everything. Taylor! Shirt-fronted. It's out of bounds again in front of Daniel Harford. And their commentary position, the Hawks by 3 points. They trailed by 63 in the first quarter. An amazing stat. Crunch from Nathan Burke. Perfectly legitimate. Let's not take the shirt front out of the game, although Brendan Crummell, he wouldn't remember too much about that one, would he, from Byron Pickett? Salmon. Crawford off the ground, gets it away from Harvey. I suppose that in itself was good, but still Harvey. He goes. Chick's got him. Kicks up and under. Punch away by Taylor. Gets it in front of Harford. And also Chick. He needs to go off the ground as well to get it from Young. He couldn't do that. Some steadiness by Matthew Young. Over the head of Burke. The boundary line might be handy for Hawthorn, but it won't go that way. Tackle by Collicker on Burke. He still gets his kick in up towards Stewie Lowe. Will he give it off? He will. Tries to find a player. Walton slips over at the crucial moment. He's got the footy. Just gets the hand pass away. Lowe. Tackled by Collicker. Snaps. And a good mark right on the last line by Jonathan Hay.
And the other side could be on too.
Yeah, too late now.
He's found him.
A bit risky. Yeah, he'll come off. Yep.
Another one's on too, Pete.
Yep.
And another one after that.
Yes, Graham. They've got the loose man going here. If he moves it quickly, Lord. Yes, he can hug the boundary line here. It's pinpoint. Now let's look up the ground.
Taylor's on again.
Yeah, players running. Joel Smith's a great kick, and that is a beautiful kick out in front of Taylor. He can centre the ball. He keeps it low. The lead's on. Thompson, yes! Oh, is he the hero, this kick? He kicked 3 in the third term. Terrific play by the Hawks from the back line.
Magnificent example of the will to run. Everyone talks about the courage of backing back into packs and all that sort of stuff. But courage to run is just as much a form of courage as far as I'm concerned. To dig deep, to get to the contest, to really make an option for your teammates who have won possession of the ball further afield. That's what's required late in games, and this Hawthorn team have certainly done that.
Nathan Thompson kicking for his 4th. There's a hush. She's missed. So another behind on the board.
I think we intimated early in this game to have Thompson on the ground or Salmon in that key post could stretch the St Kilda defence. Knowing that Everett's trying to push forward, Elliott's starting forward, no doubt there's big responsibility on the shoulders of Wakeland and also Hutchton.
Well, we're at the halfway mark of the final quarter. Harvey gets it to Francis and then gets it back again. So they share it around. Francis clear of Lekas, kicks to Mitchell. Rock's got him. Ball jarred free. Socket away by Harvey. Back towards centre wing. It's a contest now. Plenty of Hawks at the fall of the ball. They can't clear it though. Harvey again. Carr. Couple of bounces. Collicker comes at him. He's got him. Oh, great tackle.
Was that a throw?
Walton on the boundary line. Paddles it to his own advantage in front of him. It's out of bounds, but he did the job.
Peter, 2 blokes that have done very well for Hawthorn is Jonathan Hay and Trent Crowd after quarter time have been sensational on Barry Hall and Stewie Lowe respectively.
Lucky not to get a free kick. So Salmon patched up with Stewie Lowe, who's been doing, I guess, most of the ruck work after half-time. Rock got it, lost it. Mitchell's got him. Rock brushes the tackle. Crawford, Crowd, Salmon, Rock. Hawthorn trying to set something up. McLaren, good block there. Is that a mark on Lekas? Out of bounds. That's deliberate, is it not? No.
Yeah, it's just amazing what a little bit of experience does. Rock looked under pressure, but he had a cool head. Gave it to Crawford, much the same. He didn't panic in congestion. Then Salmon come into it to finally set Rock up to give the ball an advantage to Lekas.
Mitchell had it, dropped it. Crowd. Salmon still being double teamed in the ruck too. Crawford, 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces. Woods comes in for the Shepherd. Crawford kicks up towards half forward. Thompson takes the mark. He was being held anyway, so he probably could have got a free kick and he'll give it to Young.
Yes, the Hawthorn players slipped over then at a vital time. Oh, good kick, finds Hutchton. They're falling down up forward, though, the Saints, when they do go forward. Try and eat it. The Hawthorn backmen have got on. Here's a clash. Here's a clash. Harvey might end up with this, the danger man. Harvey races in the goal. He's missed the champ. He's hooked it all. He's not happy with himself. Could have put St Kilda in front, and he's missed a sitter, Mick.
Yeah, you'd call that fatigue, Pete, wouldn't you? More than just a skill error. He's ran his legs into the ground here at Waverley, Robert Harvey. Rock comes off the ground to the applause of the Hawthorn supporters. Vandenberg comes onto the ground. Also, St Kilda make a change. Thompson comes off the ground. Healy comes on. He's a goal.
Oh, look at the mark. Salmon, I thought Everett was going to spoil that, Mick. And Salmon, look at that.
Great body strength in front of the contest.
Well, you've got to hand it to him. The oldest man on the ground. He has rucked all day. And here he is kicking at the centre wing. Holland. Brown has been cut out of it by Woods. Carr, and the ball floats over the line. There's still only a kick in it with just over 7 minutes left in this game. Hawthorn lead by 3 points.
Well, goals are like diamonds, aren't they? After the Saints booted 9 in the first quarter, Hawthorn 10 straight in the third. They've dried up. It's a bit of a drought at the moment. Salmon and Everett. Salmon nudges his opponent out, only to see Harvey in the road, but Crawford beats him to it. Crawford kicks it into space. Young off the ground. They've all been watching the Socceroos.
Oh.
But a good mark. Taking it half forward for the Saints. They get it moving again. That's a splendid grab from Big Barry Hall in front of Jonathan Hay. And this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Hawthorn. If Hall can convert here, they haven't had too many opportunities so far in the last quarter.
And a stray kick off the ground. Could have gone anywhere, and Luxor Fortuna went to a Saint.
Yep, just that forward principle. When under pressure, think forward, whether it be by foot or by hand.
Barry Hall for his third. Shouldn't miss it from there. Oh, gee, I think he has.
That's pressure.
Harvey misses one from even closer, and then Barry Hall. So if the Saints don't win it, they'll be asking themselves some questions.
Let's face it, they shouldn't be in a position they're in now.
True. They should have sewn it up well and truly. Hayes kick. Good punch away by Healy. Lekas this way, that way. Graham tackled by Trianides. Check. Crawford. Lekas. Oh, downfield maybe. Aussie Jones. Crude tackle to Hawthorn mark though to Holland.
He's been terrific, Holland. Actually, since probably halfway through the actual second quarter, this Hawthorn team as a group have regrouped and actually put a lot of pressure on the St Kilda team as a whole.
Nick Holland at left centre wing. Thompson outnumbered. Burke can't get a kick in. Turvey couldn't go through either. Thompson, left foot snapshot, up and under, won't be a mark. Burke takes it, it'll be play on, he tries to. He's got it, lost it. Mitchell. Well, they all want holding the football, but it would have been a game umpire to play it either way there.
That was very good umpiring. They're working their guts out, and to pay a free kick then would have been dreadful.
And just the tackling of the Hawthorn team has been a delight to watch today. They've had 33 tackles. I think more to the point, they had 13 tackles in the first quarter because they were second to the footy. But as opposed to St Kilda, they've only had 15.
Well, Burke's doing a lot of hard work. Socket off the ground, a little bit high on Taylor. Conacher punches it away. Joel Smith against his old club. Bends it back. Thompson in front. Oh, Hudson used his body beautifully. Kicks it wide. Matthew Young. He runs around half back. He can go over the top. He will. Healy's got it. They trail by 2 points, the Saints. In towards 2-on-2 contest. Good mark. Darryl Wakeland. He chips it short. And the mark has been taken by Jason Trianides.
Now he is a goal kicker.
He's got a kick. Oh, he runs round the man on the mark. He kicks from 40 metres. Hits the post. Oh, what more? What more are we going to see in this game? Oh, you would not believe it. They're point the margin favour of the Hawks.
Well, we wanted to go home at quarter time.
Oh, not now, I'm telling you, I don't want to go anywhere. This is just an unbelievable game of footy.
I'm used to this situation. They had a draw last week too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good point, Catchy. There could be another one here. Just a point in at 97 Hawthorn, 96 St Kilda. You get to this stage, you think, well, neither team should lose. Walton will punch. Healy in front, Leckers.
Keep your feet.
It's good, Leckers.
Vandenberg, just couldn't complete it. Gets it back again in the hand pass. He spent a bit of time on the bench. Vandenberg needs to sit here. Chance for the Hawks. Colliker was it? Who goes it?
Dixon.
Dixon, he's got it.
He was the player. He was the actual player that we thought might have been the difference coming off the interchange bench when Crummell was removed from the ground early in the last quarter. But that's terrific stuff there by Hawthorn. But you go back to the half-back flank. That's where it all started. Leckers kept his feet, and the St Kilda player went to ground. You cannot afford to go to ground in a one-on-one contest when the ball's in disrepute.
Well, Hawthorn by 7 points now. And my mind casts back to a number of years ago when they knocked off Geelong at the old Optus Oval.
Gary Ayres went to the centre.
He did, and they came back and won it. But can they do it? Here's Robbie Harvey from 70 metres, a one-on-one contest. Hall in front, up away. They'll go for the line. Mark Graham, good play, Mark Graham. He should knock it on. He does. Is that in the back? Yes. Oh, what a performance this. 3.5 minutes still to go. There's time for the Saints if they're good enough.
Yes, plenty of time for the Saints to tie it up. Yet 3.5 minutes of play. A little bit early to go defensively.
Ooh,
Gee, was almost out of bounds.
Tapped it out too.
Yes, yeah, good call.
But he copped it in the back first.
And the best player on the ground up to the half-time break in Tony Brown. He's been removed from the ground. Woods has done a magnificent job on him, only allowing him 3 possessions in 2.5 quarters.
Well, who would have
Thompson's
believed that?
come back onto the ground.
Salmon on his own. Sort of uncontested marks that St Kilda was taking in the first half.
Look at him slowing it down, Pete.
Has to, and he'll kick to the longest target, definitely in the Thompson or the Holland area.
And hug the boundary line.
Hug the boundary line. This is what experience is all about.
Sounds like Mike Williamson in the '66 grand final.
Yeah, hit the boundary line.
That's the one.
Another one we lost, the Magpies.
Yes, Holland in front. Burke, almost a throw there. Carr, Young clear of Woods, kicks to half forward. They've got to get a goal here. Barry Hall's got it. Play on. He tries to break the tackle while holding the footy.
That's a great tackle. But he didn't have much chance all the same.
Bit tough, wasn't it?
Trent Crowe was very good in the tackle. Really strong. Hall is a strong man, but to hold the tackle and hold him up was good play.
Leckers. Angelo Leckers at right half back.
This will go down if they win at Hawthorn. One of the great victories, Pete.
I would. And you mentioned that Geelong game at Optus Oval. That was a great comeback, but I don't think they were behind by that far, and they had it on the other foot.
They were about 9 goals down at half-time that day.
I wish you stopped mentioning that, boys, please.
Couchy, you
Sorry,
can tell
Couchy.
the truth.
Yes, they had a slow sentiment, I think, Geelong that day.
Off the hands of Taylor and Smith. And Hawthorn would love to see the boundary line here. They do. Of course, Hawthorn were on the end of another comeback. That was in Brisbane by the then Brisbane Bears. I think the Hawks led by 45 points or something at three-quarter time and got rolled in the heat.
I love that Hawthorn coach's box. There's some animation there.
Salmon goes for the boundary line. All right, I'll ask you one. Is that deliberate?
No. No, because he did punch it back towards the boundary. When you're 25,
You see it so often, though, don't you?
Yeah, they never pay it. They never pay it in ruck contests. Here's Salmon. Oh, look at that. Oh, what a punch. A 30-metre punch and gain another 30 round the boundary line. Oh, that was fantastic play by Salmon and wasting valuable time. We're down to a minute and a half. Look at Salmon. He's like a big general out there. They have to score 2 goals to win the game. That's the Saints. Well done, Harford. Oh, cleverly done. He brings it in towards half forward area. Oh, Ben Dixon a one-hander. He's a huge kick. He's a left footer.
He doesn't have to hurry. He can just take the ball in his own stride.
Look at
just
that.
Assess his options, Pete.
Well, he'll have to kick it 65 metres to score a goal, but at least he'll be putting it up in the goal square. And it'll be difficult now for the Saints. In fact, he's thinking, no, don't do that, son. Go for the top of the square. That's the way. That's the kick. He puts it right up there to put the pressure on. Nick Holland! Oh, Holland's taken a rip Super.
How good's he been?
Oh, he's taken it 10 metres out. Look at the emotion of Anthony Rock.
Magnificent, that.
And Holland has really stood up when he had to be counted. He's kicked 4 and about to maybe kick his 5th.
Yeah, a lot of people have questioned his ability, Nick Holland. A lot say that he's overrated. I don't know how they can say that, but in terms of the general perception,
Richardson last night, Holland today, they've both answered him, Mick.
No doubt.
I don't know. No one ought to say he's overrated. He's a good player.
But in the football public, a lot of people do, don't they, Pete?
They do.
And that's much maligned because he's a player that really works hard.
So
as far as I'm concerned, he's a real competitor.
Well, he's about to kick his 5th and shut the gate. He's kicked it. What a performance, Hawthorn. What a performance, Nick Holland.
Look at that. That's what the exhilaration of victory is all about. 22 seconds on the time clock to go. What a remarkable effort. 9 goals to 1 at quarter time. 11 goals to 4 at half time. Trailing by 44 points, but this Hawthorn team has certainly turned it around. Much to the efforts by that man on screen, on the ground, on his back. Picked himself up to kick a goal.
Well, it's one of the great comebacks. Bill Collins rode off Kingston Town at 1. He's virtually rode the Hawks off when they trailed by 51 points at quarter time, and they're going to get up and win. So I guess as commentators we should learn, but the Hawks will look at this tape back for a long time. Be great motivation for them, a bit like the Aussies in the cricket the other night.
And a bit like the old Hawthorn sides in the late 80s, when you just never write them off. They come from impossible positions.
But how they've come back, they've worked and worked and worked. And there's the siren. And that does cap one of the most remarkable Hawthorn victories I have seen.
That is a remarkable victory. Just the exuberation on every player's face. And that's what you play footy for, any competitive sport, on a collective basis, so you can share the memories of a victory of this ilk.
This has been a Fox Footy presentation, part of the Fox Sports Network.